live, so just be ready, okay? Let me switch over here. Ready. I was born ready too. We have been talking some major garbage today. Like, so Adrian, we have been talking some major garbage.
About who?
About the series, about just whether the winds of what? News?
There is some news.
Breaking news, guys. Let me fix the freaking visual over here on the channel.
Yeah, let me pull up here. Not a blog. GRRM gave us a Winds of Winter update. There is a
this is from a few days ago, right?
It's from a few days ago. So if you guys are
oh yeah, I forgot about that. I thought you were joking for a second.
No, there is an
hold on, dude. Hold on. Let me do a little.
Well, all right, get her all dialed in.
What should we title this? We're hanging out, man.
We're hanging out at
Call the Banners.
At the crossroads.
Call the Banners.
Right. We're not hanging out in hyperspace. We're hanging out on the King's Road.
God bless. Yeah. Okay.
God bless Bessie.
I think I wanted to title it like, where did this even come from? It's the phrase like, what if we kissed under the blank?
What?
Have you guys seen that? Like the, okay. All right. Adrian, no. All right, cool.
Simp shit.
Oh my, hey, bro.
Wouldn't know. The Weirwood.
That's what I was gonna say. Under the Weirwood.
Well, there is some kissing under the Weirwoods. You know?
Okay, so what if
we
kissed under the Weirwood? That's gonna be the title of the video.
What if?
What if? Well, I want to talk. I want to talk something we've literally never talked before. And as I always say, we've never talked it before.
Yeah.
I think we're going to talk about Lemongate and the tree and the red door and the lemons.
Yep.
Do they grow in Bravos? I don't think so.
No, they don't grow there.
Is Dany even a Targaryen?
She's fake.
No, she's not.
She's Stormborn. You know?
Is she a Baratheon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm just throwing stuff out here, guys.
That's good.
Who's the first Sword of Bravos when Dany is supposedly in Bravos? Well, that's Syrio Forel. I mean, do they know each other?
These are all valid questions.
And I want answers.
Well, you guys are gonna have to start pulling up get the resources, okay? Because Ser Ezra is actually on. It's not my watch tonight, okay? So I am actually I'm on a different duty tonight, okay? So everyone can just calm down. Jamie, Christmas.
I tweeted this out, so this is going to go viral. I mean, I'm just saying.
Did you tweet it out? Oh my God, dude.
Of course I tweeted it out.
By the way, can we talk about I'll go ahead and say it, Matt. I'll go ahead and say it. I know we got some people that listen from Swish and Flick and other podcasts and stuff, but I've never got a better bump on a project than the bump that we got from the Fantasy Network.
Seriously.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. It was like we were in an actual wrestling match and I took a bump and just it was insane. I couldn't believe it.
You know, I just
it was the highest we've ever gotten off of a bump.
Yeah.
Because Sir Jimmy's the man.
Oh, he is the man. You know what? I'll go ahead and say it. I know Daniel Green watches our live streams.
Get him out of here.
He better watch out.
Is Daniel Green the Mike Zero of books?
Oh my. We're let me change the title of this to calling out every YouTuber we can. Holy
Seriously.
Smokes.
There's a lot I'm ready to call out.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. So hey, just remember, guys, this is real casual. Okay, we're just chilling out. Do we have anybody watching? I hope not.
I don't think so.
I hope not. I mean, what's scary if we do? 6 people watching. Oh,
Woo!
Jesus.
Well, hello to everybody. Hello to everybody that's watching. We will be getting started here. Yeah.
I need some clip art for this. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get kissing under the Weirwood clip art here real quick. You know what I mean?
They have clip art for that.
Careful
Careful what you Google. Be careful what you Google.
Seriously.
Actually, that's a really good call. That's it's like this is why we bring Adrian on, because she totally just they have Jamie and Brienne kissing under the this is guys, wait till you see this. Oh my gosh. Matt, talk about best clip art we've ever made. You're about to see some genius stuff right here. Hey, real quick, while we're just sitting here chatting, we got the banner. We called the banners. Okay.
Somebody might be joining us.
That's fine. Hey, but here's the thing. We called the banners, and look who answered the call. Okay.
Hey,
I know Sir Matthew Perry is working. I get it. I'm sure other people are out on like dates. It's a Friday night. They're having what? I don't even know what
Right.
Are
you're
you
doing in the
saying
past.
we're losers?
No,
I'm
I'm
kind of getting
here.
that feel.
I'm just
I'm
saying
here.
you should be socially distancing.
Hey, all right. No,
what are you
I was
trying
saying.
to say about us, Ezra?
I said you're loyal bannerman. That's what I said.
And banner
Guys,
woman.
yeah. So thank you. Guys, did I not mention that I've had several White Claws and I'm the co-lord of White Claw? So that's where I'm at right now. All right, somebody's got to man the ship here while I make this clip art. Jimmy, how you been, buddy?
Well, I'm great, and I'm glad you asked because I celebrated Christmas a little late, okay, and due to the whole world melting down, so we did a little quarantine, okay, and then we finally got to see our family. I saw my parents for the first time in a year, so that was cool.
Okay.
And then I received this wonderful gift, which is the Folio Society edition of Game of Thrones.
Wow.
I was ready to sell my kidney to get this, but it turns out that I don't have to, which is terrific. Really, it is.
That's that's good.
Because I need my kidneys so I can drink more.
How much
White
are
Claw.
kidneys going for these days?
Not as much as this book. So it has a beautiful lion eating a what does that look like? A stag.
Is live chat on?
I tried to
should be
type.
on.
I tried to type in live chat and it wouldn't let me.
It's not letting me either. It says unable to connect. I tried it on my phone using
What
different
in
internet. It says this action isn't allowed.
Hey, you know who else can log in here while I make this clip art? All right, you can just go ahead and click on the live thing and edit it.
I can't. I'm under a different thing.
You gotta come on now.
Ez, you got to pull yourself together before you have too many claws, bro.
Hey, I'm making a Weirwood kissing clip art, and you guys are gonna love it. Okay.
But
All right,
these
well,
Folio
let me-
Societies are beautiful. The
That
pages
does look amazing.
are brushed on the top, and it has illustrations in it. And I really like it because it's way more true to what George actually describes the characters as, rather than just the show, which I really appreciate. However, Danny is super young. This isn't Danny, but these are just some of the illustrations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
hand bound. Comes with a known world map that I won't unfold because it is very hard to fold back up. But yeah, I mean, super excited. Even inside the box, there's a White Walker art,
Nice.
Wow.
which is
As I don't think I can edit it because I think you have to do it inside of like the stream portion of it.
Oh, you're so lucky I'm here, dude, because you're so lucky. I know what I'm doing over here.
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. He knows I'm kidding. He knows I'm kidding.
I know.
All right, here we go. I got the clip art, and now I'm going in here and I'm editing.
All
Let's
right,
get a
Sir
little.
Jimmy versus a box, and I almost lost, but we got it there. So yeah, I mean, things are good, guys. I mean, we got some
Good.
George updates, prequel stuff coming up. It's a great time. Great time to be a Song of Ice and Fire fan for the
It
first
really
time.
is.
in
It's a
while.
great time to be alive.
So true. 2021's been a pretty memeable year.
I was going to continue with the rest of the lyrics, but I don't know how it goes.
I don't either. That's why you got to make up your own songs.
I know the sun keeps going something or other. I don't know. I don't listen to country music.
Well,
Yeah, it says enable live chat. Allow
Mostly
live
about,
chat
like,
replay.
Trucks and dogs
it's
and
because you went to
I think
college.
so.
tractors.
It's true. Tractors, sweet tea, and breakups. I think that's the essence of country music.
Boom.
Somebody watches like, hey buddy, I like country music.
Look who it is. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
This is
we quite
amazing.
literally have two authors in the room now.
Two
so-
authors up in the room. What is going on?
Did we
Annie,
all-
how are you? You okay?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
you're muted. She's on the you got it on the mute
2021.
button.
We're still.
I'm doing good.
There was a lot of
Guys,
suspense there. I was not sure if she was doing well or not.
I was in meetings all day today, and it was all, it's the thing 2020, the whole you're muted thing or whatever. It still is continuing and plaguing us in 2021. I want someone to do something about it and solve it because it's driving me insane.
I feel like Zoom's the most important step in human evolution since eyes.
It's pretty great.
It is pretty sick.
I don't think our people can chat right now. I actually just had someone hit me up say, "Hey, I tried to type in chat."
As people are, what's going on
What?
with the chat, bro? What is going on with the chat, man?
I mean,
What is going on?
You're breaking the algorithm, bro.
Seriously.
Do we have so many people in there that
Here we
it's
go.
not working?
It says say something.
It
It says
just
chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you.
Mine says Ser
Are you
Ezra
kidding
is a
me?
fool. I don't know what that means.
Are you joking me
Seriously.
right now? I'm gonna say, hey
It
guys,
says,
I said
Error,
something that's
try
been the
again.
knee. Can you see that?
I can see that.
yes,
I
we
cannot-
can.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Here, let me try to say something.
So I can chat.
I mean, I have
Uh-huh.
other viewers that are trying to chat, and they're telling me, "Hey, Sir Jimmy, I can't get in the chat."
Oh, I think mine let me.
Yeah, yours let you. Okay, all right. So, wow. Oh, Sir Ezra, it's
There we
always
go.
your fault. I'm
Look
sorry,
at this.
Annie.
we-
I feel
We
so
got Red
bad,
in the chat. This is beautiful.
Annie. This is like
Welcome,
the first time.
by the way.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And
I know I don't think we've ever like really spoken or like live
Mhm.
anything,
it's
Yeah.
amazing, and I'm very happy to do so. I just feel bad because it kind of caught me off guard. I mean, I don't know what's going on over here. They got me running a live show. They got me updating, clip art and drinking Corona against my will. I didn't want to do it myself, but they said
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know.
He's the man of many talents.
drink, but I can't right now. So drink for me.
Okay. All right.
Ez will have no problem doing that.
So
that-
that's zero.
that-
Drink for all of us.
There we
Someone's gonna have to like take over the actual Matt. I should have shared this.
I can
You
do
should be
this.
the host.
I can.
You might have to kick me out.
Be the host.
You might have to kick
Well,
me
you
out.
could. I think you can. I think you can give me host access here.
Hey, I've already got enough complaining over here with the whole like, can we chat?
okay.
Can we whatever? So dude.
Listen, we have famed booktuber Rid in the chat here. Okay, and if you've never watched her channel, it's phenomenal, absolutely
All
phenomenal.
right. Well, let me go check it out. Who's this?
She has done a breakdown of Malazan book 1 and addresses a lot of the concerns with the series about how it's very complex and yada yada yada.
How many
And
books is it?
It's
like-
10 for the main series, and then there's like a bunch of other ones, but really you just need to read the first 10. But her intro video to book 1, if you ever have interest in reading Malazan, is the best primer you can watch.
Okay.
How many? How big are the books?
Oh, they're big. It's bigger than the Wheel of Time.
Wait, you mean like the series is longer or like the books
Words wise, there's more words in Malazan than there is Wheel of Time.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty big. But
And
who
he's-
knows? Who knows how big A Song of Ice and Fire is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good idea how long it's going to be. About 5 books.
There's 5 more books left.
Oh no, we're only getting the 5 we.
I don't know. Well, hey, there is an update. I was going to read this.
Yeah, hit us
so
with
we
this
could- so-
update. This is important.
So all right, so the man himself, George R. R. Martin, came out, gave us that early Winds of Winter update. He says reflections on a bad year. So we're not starting off too good, but I think he's just talking about COVID, right? Says January has gone past in the blink of an eye. In the past, I've often written a year's end roundup sorts on my Nada blog just before or after New Year's. This year, though, 2020 was probably the worst year I've ever lived through for the country and the world, if not for me personally. And I say that from the perspective of somebody who lived through and remembers 1968. So much happened and so much of it was dire, but all the rest dwindles in importance in the shadows of hundreds of thousands of COVID deaths. So he talks a lot. He goes on to talk about politics. I'll skip past some of that, but here we go. He says, well, what was good about 2020 besides the election? For me, there was work. I wrote hundreds and hundreds of pages of the Winds of Winter. The best year I've had on Winds of Winter since I began it.
Which was this
Why? Right, which was this year. I
Jay,
think.
wow.
Seriously. Why? I don't know. Maybe the isolation, or maybe I just got on a roll. Sometimes I do get on a roll. I need to keep rolling, though. I still have hundreds of more pages to write to bring the novel to a satisfactory conclusion. That's what I hope for in 2021. So then he goes on to say, and he says, I'm not making any predictions because every time I do, a-holes on the internet take that as a promise, and then they will criticize me if I miss the deadline. I have a zillion other things to do as well. And then that's kind of it, actually. So his current mood is tired. He does list his little current mood down there. But he said he's doing. I don't, who knows? He said this is the best year he's ever had, probably because it's the first year. But it's interesting what he says, where he says, I still have hundreds of more pages to write to bring the novel to a satisfactory conclusion. So is he talking about Winds of Winter there, or is he really talking about the whole freaking thing?
Whoa. The whole thing. Sir Matt. How many years? 10?
The Winds 10. It's been 10 years.
10 years. Now, look, I'm not going to be one of those. I have never been, George, if you're watching this, I have never been one of those a-holes who has criticized you. I have said, everyone can mark me down on this podcast. I said, let him finish. Let him finish the book, okay? Get off his back. Let him do it in his own time. If he wants to revise stuff, let him revise. You know, I was highly criticized for not reading all those Winds of Winter release chapters when we first started this podcast. And guess what? They're almost irrelevant now, folks. Okay.
That is the truth.
Sorry, Annie. I'm like super fired up today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just like,
I love it. I'm enjoying it.
You're just you feel the electricity, Annie, because I'm feeling it.
I feel it.
I feel the electricity.
As is fired up.
They call me the Lightning Lord. Okay.
I'm just saying
Eric, the main man, Dondarrion. Okay. So
we got lost in discovery in chat saying, remember his not a blog post in 2015-16, basically hinting Winds would be done within a year. And I said, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk.
There's other things in 2016 that happened that we don't talk about anymore. Okay.
Yeah, we don't. No. Yeah.
2021, baby.
Yeah.
Wasn't 2016 the Tom Brady Falcons Super Bowl? I think it was.
Yes. And there was quite a few other things that happened that year.
2017 was the Rams. Yeah.
So
brutal.
Lost in Discovery is an excellent booktuber, by the way. He's fantastic as well.
We got some booktubers up in here. What's going on? Hold on a second here.
Well, it is a book series that we talk about.
Yes.
You know?
And we relate it to things, and I always bring in a perspective of trying to bring up Tad Williams anytime I can.
Didn't he just tweet at you?
He tweeted at me, and then he tweeted at me, retweeted my video, then did an individual tweet with the link in, and then his wife, who has over 100,000 followers, tweeted it. Pretty cool. I was very excited. I was very, very excited.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't even know.
Man.
I don't even know who this guy is anymore. I'm out.
Listen, then he wrote Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which inspired A Song of Ice and Fire. George says that Tad is the reason why he wrote his 7-book trilogy, as he calls it.
Okay.
Which is a great endorsement on the front of the book, by the way. It says, inspired me to write my own 7-book trilogy, which is hilarious. So, also, all of George's endorsements on the front of books are absolutely hilarious because he either says something nonsensical like that, or he'll say fantasy, how it ought to be written. And he puts it on 8 books, 8 different authors. It's such a generic, shitty statement.
That's funny.
I mean, if he wants to put that on my book, I wouldn't argue. It could be the
I don't
same
think anybody's
thing.
upset.
I mean, I would take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind
if he was fantasy, but I would still take it.
Yeah, of course. When an author's name's bigger than the title of the books, that's how you know it's he's probably doing all right.
Yeah.
Rid says George R. Martin, and then brackets, it was all right.
Well, I don't know about that.
Hey.
Well, I guess it depends. Sometimes the book is bigger than the author. Sometimes, yeah, you're right.
I mean, Stephen King, right? You see Stephen King.
Right.
And then it just says like, you know, the
I mean, is Dr. Seuss bigger than Green Eggs and Ham? Or is Green Eggs and Ham bigger than Dr. Seuss?
Best of.
It's the age-old question.
That is
Well,
the-
that's my age level reading question. So that's
I
Well,
like it.
well, okay. All those comments are making sense. Does this guy even read the books?
this guy even read that?
Like,
That's
well,
a good one. Brandon
I
Sanderson.
mean, I will still say to this day that Green Eggs and Ham is the greatest book ever written. I mean,
There's a lot of
try and prove to me that a better book exists. Have more people read Green Eggs and Ham, or more people read literally anything else?
At least it's finished.
It is finished.
Anytime you compare anything to the Song of Ice for the first, well, at least this is finished. And it's like
Lady Becky says, I've never read a Dr. Zeus book. I believe she means Dr. Seuss book. It's impossible to have never read a single Dr. Seuss book. Okay. Or at least be like familiar. I mean, the Grinch. I mean, everybody knows the Grinch. The Cat in the Hat. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
hey, you know what happens is that's Go Dog. What's the one with the dogs and they're going and the red lights hat? You know, what I'm talking
Go
about?
dog go.
Go Dog Go. Yeah.
what's
I
up,
don't know.
Lord Dorgoth? What's going on?
I'm just
And-
making it up.
All I know is they end up on a tree and they're having a party up on a tree, and it's really cool. And I thought that was cool.
Cat in the Hat has entered the chat, which rhymes.
All right. Yeah,
That's
it's true.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Now I want an actual.
Now
I thought-
who wrote the book about the giving tree? Remember, it's like then the guy cuts it down.
Shell.
Shel
Moses.
Silverstein.
Shel
Oh, okay.
Silverstein.
I thought it was Moses. For
Moses.
sure.
Moses.
Actually, that was the bush.
All right.
It was the burning bush.
It was
Tree
the giving bush.
You
It's giving
know.
off a lot of heat. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Well, maybe Shel Silverstein could finish a Song of Ice, or is he not alive?
I like how we're just raffling on. Who's gonna like George is dead. Let's just raffle off the next off.
That's we should imagine a Song of Ice and Fire. I want a Song of Ice and Fire told to us via different authors and how it would sound. You know,
I mean,
I'm sure there's a lot of rhyming you could do in.
Hold on,
Game
I'm
of
trying to think of a
Thrones.
good like Targaryen rhyme for Dr. Seuss style. You know what I mean? Like red
Targaryen.
dragon, blue dragon, green dragon. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like start naming off numbers and colors, right?
It's a good start.
Two twins.
I don't know.
Matt's got me. You see Matt's
I know. Well,
eyes.
I've got one that I'm working on in my head really quickly.
Yeah.
but I
Okay.
wanna-
You go ahead. We'll solve.
But it's gonna be
we'll
so
stop.
brutal. It's gonna be so brutal that I
It's
just have
probably
to. I have to.
extremely
It's
inappropriate.
probably it is. I just have
Thank
to
God
nail
we
it
are
right
not
away.
saving this live stream. We are just
Yeah.
gonna chilling out here.
I'm sure Zeus has a PhD. He's had a few millennia for it. Solid.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It auto corrects Dr. Seuss to Zeus.
I always like this question, even though it's morbid, and I know George absolutely hates it. Lost Discovery says, if it came to a point where A Song of Ice and Fire had to be finished by another author, who do you guys think would be the best pick? The best pick is Daniel Abraham, for sure.
I don't know who that is.
He wrote The Expanse. He's also wrote The Dagger and the
Oh.
Coin, and he is the one that's I've ranted about him in our Zoom private hangouts.
lot.
but
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. But Daniel
A lot.
Abraham has worked with George on TV, and he's also the person who's in charge of adapting George's work for Song of Ice and Fire into the graphic novels. And Daniel Abraham is the only other person that knows the ending.
Wow.
So,
What?
And George
Well,
has
what about-
written the
Why
last
can't Brandon?
sentence.
Why can't Brandon Sanderson just come in and do it?
Sanderson doesn't want to do it. He
Wait,
says
for-
that he doesn't like A Song of Ice and Fire. It's not that he doesn't like it, like he thinks it sucks, but it doesn't. He doesn't mesh with the nihilistic.
Hold
theme.
on, hold on.
If HBO came in and said, "Hey, we want you to finish it, and so that we can do stuff with it, and here's $10 million," I'm pretty sure he would do it.
Two
I don't.
things.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure.
mean,
he would.
I'll finish it for 10 million. I mean, Robin Hobb's
Yeah.
another one. That's a really good one, actually.
What
Because
about Stephen King? George and Stephen King are buddies.
What about
Yeah,
Dan and
buddy.
Dave? What about Dan and Dave?
Jeez.
all right, first off, Stephen King can't write it. I love Stephen King. He can't write an ending, so we're good. We already saw that ending. We don't need it again, right? Could you?
What?
Trying to think of the only things Dan and Dave have written. I think is Dave wrote the Wolverine movie, the first one, Wolverine Origins, which is
I actually like that
worst-
movie.
Which is it's so awful.
I mean, I'm not a superhero guy. I saw it in theaters. I was holding a girl's hand. I don't know.
It's
All right, hold on. You know, all this garbage, you know, let's just hold on. Annie, I gotta cut through all this noise here real quick. All right, so we got George is gonna finish the series, right? That's what's gonna happen. He's in prime health. He's fine.
You want to put
And
Doge
he's
on
gonna-
it?
Huh?
You want to bet Doge on it?
You want to bet some Dogecoin on it? You want to bet some crypto on it? I will bet some cryptocurrency right now, my friend. No, I think he's gonna be fine. He's gonna do his thing. It's gonna be cool. I do want to know, since this is like the first time I've gotten a chance to talk to Annie, what do you have any like? Well, first of all, like your Winds of Winter. I'm always thinking Winds of Winter in the theory, and we're talking about it, whatever. Do you have like a favorite kind of like character or storyline or plot that you want to like, you know, that you're interested in or anything? I mean,
Well, I'm 3 books in. I have yet to do 4 and 5. But
oh my.
you
But I
see
mean,
the show.
Yeah, I've seen the show. So I'm getting ready to like do 4 and 5, like trying to find like a good reading combo because like
That's
the whole.
awesome.
So, but I do, as far as favorite characters, I do like Tyrion a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So are you going to try to do then like the, I've seen a couple other
Boiled
podcasts
leather.
and yeah, they a couple, I think it's in the Reddit. They put together that Matt said boiled leather. There's another one, different reading schemes. Are you just going to read it straight through or are you going to try to?
Yeah. I found one. I think it's called A Feast for Dragons order.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had it saved on my phone, so whenever I get around to doing it. But I know there's like different orders, but that one kind of seemed like the most reasonable one.
I've tried that. It's actually, I didn't finish it, but it was really, it was cool. It was a really good way to kind of go through it.
Yeah.
It's
so
a
good.
combined 119.
Yeah. So good. I didn't finish it. Yeah.
That's a lot of chapters. That's a lot of
Wait,
chapters.
especially the Dance with Dragons chapters. Like A Feast for Crows is what's the shortest book. But even some of the chapters in there aren't too long. But then man, you get to some of those Dance with Dragons. Like there's like some Tyrion chapters towards the end of a Dance with Dragons that are like on Audible. It's like over an hour long.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a Daenerys one that's like 45
A lot of-
pages or something.
Most of the Daenerys chapters throughout the whole series are huge just because you don't
Yeah.
interact with her a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of back building there, and that's where he also gives us a lot of the world building and history and lore from the Targaryen reigns and such, like her getting educated about her relatives and whatnot. So like he had to fill in a lot of knowledge gaps there.
Mm-hmm. Guys, the world just keeps expanding. You know, there's threads going everywhere. We bring it up multiple times. We're not going to finish it in 2 books, and I'm okay with that. Give me 3. Just somebody let this man finish the series. Get off his back.
Well, here's a
okay?
great question from our friend all the way across the pond. Way across the pond. It says, do you guys worry that the plot lines the show cut out will end up being irrelevant or inconsequential in the book plots? I do not.
Say that again.
So do you guys worry that the plot lines the show cut out will end up being irrelevant or inconsequential to the book plots? And I don't think
Oh,
so. And I think if they
yeah.
were, if that were the case, then George would get these done pretty quick.
No.
No, and the biggest one is actually something I was researching today, which we might end up talking about, which is that the lemon tree, right, with Dany and her time,
Hold on.
her time
Let's
in
go- no.
Dorne. But just real quick, hold on, just real quick. Just let me say it. Is just because Dorne is so clearly just cut out of the show because the ratings in the show, if you go look at them, were like the lowest rated segments of the show. And I think that next season they're like, cut this out, and it's way too big in the books.
Oh, it's way too big in the books. Yeah. The question we started with, and you go look at the description of this video, is Daenerys Targaryen a Targaryen?
Yes.
Might not be.
Total fake. Deep fake. I mean,
She might
holy
be the
smokes.
Mummer's dragon.
I think
That might
she's
be
the
the-
Mummer's dragon.
That
I'm
might be
going
the
on
name that
record.
That might be the name that they give
think
her.
she
Beware of the
is.
Mummer's Dragon. You don't want to be called that. Be a dragon, not the Mummer's Dragon.
And she's failing. And she's not. Guys, there's something up. There is something fishy about this, by the way. And so the deep ones and, you know, the Greyjoys enter in here. I don't know. There too much Stormborn, you know, too much just like doesn't make sense. I don't trust her. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Back to that question though, or the idea that like the what they cut out in the show might not be relevant. No way. It's actually, I'm gonna say this again. It's gonna tick people off. Dan and Dave walked in to George and they said, George, what's the end of this story? And he said, fellas, I don't know. Because I haven't
can't
written
handle
it yet.
the end.
You can't handle the end, fellas.
And then they said, hold my beer.
Oh, and he said, hold the door. And I said, oh, geez, what? Like, what the? George, I mean, George is, I don't know, guys. Something's going to happen. Like, those other plot lines that they cut out are going to make things just sink so much better. I actually am starting to believe that whole idea that what we saw at the, like, there's massive scenes and sequences that are cut out, massive amounts of stuff that's cut out. And so I'm like, and also the end that we see, that might not be the end. I mean, the way he keeps writing, he could be like, you know what? Watch this. I'm going to go another book or 2 or 3 or 4.
Oh, God.
Not that that's going to work, Jimmy. I'm not saying that, but, you know, I mean, geez.
Right. You know, one of the things people forget is, so, you know, season 5 is where it slowly kind of begins to change. Yeah. Not only are they actually beginning to get past where they're at, actually season 5, there's still a lot of books. There's still a lot, you're still within the books.
Yeah.
It's really like season 6, but the big difference is season 4, you know, up to season 4, GRRM was a writer. He wrote episodes every season up until then. So really, it was like he wasn't even around anymore, you know, because it's not just like, oh, hey, they're in communication with him and they can go off the books. No, because they still are in season 5 are in the books, but GRRM steps out from the writing process, and now it's like, so
yeah, it was free range for them to
right.
Muck it up, right? I mean, that's the problem. And actually, Rid, who was in the chat, I don't know if she's still here, she actually talked about like the Wheel of Time adaptation and kind of what to expect. And like one of the reasons why the fans kind of turned on the show is because it was such a faithful adaptation. And then once it ran out of material, obviously it's hard to be faithful when you don't have anything to adapt from, but they kind of lost that spirit, right? So you can't go from being a super realistic adaptation from a piece of from literature and then betray that at the end. I think that's like one of the biggest points is the consistency, right? Either you change stuff from the get-go that is drastic, or you're faithful to the adaptation the whole time.
Wait, are we talking about Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Her video was about Wheel of Time and the struggle it has to overcome with that.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, once you start. Okay, and the difference there with Wheel of Time, right? It's all there. I mean, you make that decision out the gate. I think Dan and Dave, from everything that George has said about them before the whole backlash of season 8, and maybe even before that, was that they were attempting to faithfully adapt the material that he had. Unfortunately, when they shouldn't have started that way then. If they would have known that they weren't going to get the ending of the book series and they couldn't actually adapt the book series, then you got to call your own shot. I mean, I don't know how you do that. It's an impossible thing. Hey guys, how do we plant foreshadowing? And now again, they have their own inconsistencies. Like I get that. Like in the book, they were kind of drawing, you know, they're trying to follow what George is leading us all down all sorts of different rabbit holes and taking us, you know, look this way while I run Hodor, you know, down the back here. I mean, what in the world? So these guys, and he has all those things. It actually hurt George, I think, to give up some of that stuff and to reveal it in a TV show because he never thought they were going to catch up to him. I just cannot believe that, like, these guys go to him and they say, well, George, what's the ending? He tells them the ending. And now maybe they said, We're not going to do that.
He also just gave them points, right? Like he kind of gave them like.
Well, what else could he give them? I mean,
yeah,
right.
I mean, because he's still writing, right?
He's still. What would you? I mean, I guess if you don't know the end of the story, and here's my main point. The points that when they came to him in New York City, and then he came to them. I think they met there, and then there was another time in New Mexico, I think at his homestead, and he at different points, I think originally he was like, I'm gonna have winds out. That'll be plenty of stuff for you to adapt. And I totally agree with the whole complaint that, yeah, you should have taken more time. You should have expanded it a couple more seasons. Maybe George would have gotten it done.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Maybe.
Well, what's more frustrating is that Dan and Dave, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We all know they suck, whatever. But the frustrating thing is that they were offered more.
Yeah.
HBO said we'll give you 10, and GRRM said you need 13.
Yep.
Like the original number was 13.
Yeah. Well, the thing I will defend Dan and Dave on is because I think that, and I'll make two comparisons here. Is I think that they are really good. They're good at directing because I mean, obviously it's like, hey, when handed like some stuff, and they had written episodes before, so I mean, seasons 1 through 4 are magic, but again, George is much more involved. I mean, obviously they're directing a lot of these episodes and making what is still, the highest rated like TV show, most Academy Award, whatever.
Also the most watched show.
Right. Once it switches over to them as writers, they, are in a tough spot because, well, they have to try and make this work into what the outline that they're given. But I do think they're still amazing directors. I mean, you look at a lot of these episodes that they wrote. I mean, the episode where Jon gets crowned king in the North, they wrote that, they directed that episode. It's freaking fantastic. I mean, the final sequence of the Tower at Joy, you see the baby, and then it cuts to Jon, and then like, everybody standing up and everything. I mean, that's amazing. Now, on the flip side, I look at somebody, not that I want to totally go down this path here, but somebody like a Rian Johnson. And since I'm over here on since we're not talking Star Wars right this second, this is our Game of Thrones channel. I can unequivocally bash Star Wars, and people won't flip out on me over like they do over in hyperspace.
Oh my!
There
God.
you have somebody who I think is an amazing director, because a lot of the stuff I look at in The Last Jedi, a lot of the scenes and cinematography is phenomenal in that movie. I mean, like the fight scene towards the end with Rey and Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. But as a writer, he is like, well, I want to challenge the fans and I want to push it to all these different directions. And I mean, so it's like I look at kind of these two things in comparison. Dan and Dave were trying to like make it something that the fans would want, and we're kind of in this tough spot where they're like, hey, maybe we're not as great writers, but we're better directors. Where you have somebody like a Rian Johnson, who I think actually probably in anything outside of, say, Star Wars, I would consider to be a really good writer and a director. But he's like, well, I'm going to do it my fucking way. Well, you didn't have Dan and Dave sitting there saying like, well, we're going to do it our way, and the fans are going to have to deal with it. They are like, this is the route we want to go. This is the route we think that most people will like. And they tried to do it and had to adjust. So I'm looking right now at the ratings for A Song of Ice, for a Game of Thrones. The lowest rated season is season 5, which is a lot of the Dorne stuff. That's where the Dorne stuff comes in. The lowest rated episode in Game of Thrones is episode 46. I think it has to do far more with the ending of that episode, but a lot of that episode is also Dorne. As the Sand Snakes prepare to abduct Marcella, Bronn and Jaime disguise themselves as Dornish guard to infiltrate the Water Gardens to rescue her at first. So this is the stuff that's kind of going on, where you have Jaime going. Now, the end of that episode is something that does not take place in the books, which is Sansa and Ramsay's bedroom scene, which I think is why it's the lowest rated episode of Game of Thrones. And so you could, I think that's part of a combination. But if you look at a lot of the ratings for the rest of it, it's all Dorne. So then these guys also, maybe George told them more, but you have HBO saying, hey, our ratings are way down and you have to fix it. So maybe they couldn't even actually go the route that they had and George had planned because they had to fix a lot of this Dorne stuff. It might not be on them. It might have been from HBO saying, hey, look at our ratings, man. Like, so, I mean, there's that as well.
Right. Well, it could be.
I mean,
it also could be, it also could be that the series is not finished yet. Okay. Guys, let's adapt the last 2 books.
You think?
How are you going to adapt them? No, those guys should have done a better adaptation of the end of the series. Based on what?
Well, I think
I'm
the criticism would be that they booted George out. I mean,
I'm kidding.
The criticism.
I don't think they booted George.
I heard
Jimmy,
they called him
now,
ugly and shoved him out of the door. No,
I'm telling you right now, if this turns into a Mike Zero show, I don't know where are the sources on this thing. I'm just kidding.
I mean, literally, if you go to Wikipedia and you look at the ratings, it is a straight incline until you hit season 5, in which it takes an enormous dip and then starts to come back up. I mean, it's an incline, and then it's straight incline. The whole show, except for season 5, which was the Dorne stuff, and which there's actually a lot in the books that they don't go down. So then when you get to season 6, and they're like, well, we gotta adjust some stuff. What do you? Who knows what George told them, and how big of a part that Dorne was going to be. And then they have to say, well, we can't include that because people don't like it as much. So what do we do?
Well, it's also they cut a lot of the fantastical elements. They said that wasn't, really what they wanted to go. Oh, wait, Ez has his hand up. Yes,
Thank you. I wanted to ask really quickly. So Lady Annie, did you like season 8 of the?
No, even though I hadn't finished the books, I could tell like just the drastic difference of time, like how rushed things seem to be.
There was no more traveling or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
I said this, I think that we could have got a lot of content out. Remember when Arya and the Hound get back together and then they're going to King's Landing? Like, could you imagine if we had a season of them traveling after they've grown as characters? I mean, that would be really, really compelling stuff. And we missed out on that. And I think that is just obviously it was too short. But another thing that Dan and Dave did, and I think it came back to bite them in the ass, is that they actually lended a lot of the power to how characters were portrayed on screen to the actors, which ended up being amazing. But then at the end, they started directing with a much more heavy hand. And when you take away the ability of the actors who obviously have understood these characters through however many episodes, and then you start telling them how to be that character, it's going to be awkward, which is why the entire last episode from the second half is just awkward. Because you just have people doing things that they would never do. You know what I mean? Like, and I could point out 100 examples, but I think that is the assassination of the characters that we knew and loved, were because of the heavy hand that Dan and Dave took out, specifically in the last 2 seasons. Yeah.
Well, real quick, Lost in Discovery. Yeah, Dan and Dave. Danny forgot about Euros' fleet. Yes, they did. That to me is the worst episode of Game of Thrones. I mean, it's the only episode of the show that I feel like is like bad. I'm like, this is like an awful.
It was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch, especially because it takes place after the enormous battle at Winterfell, which is like, I mean, it's huge, spectacular. I mean, whether you didn't like it or not. But I will try to defend them every now and then. Just because until we find out everything that happened, you go off rumors and stuff like that. And, I try to view it in the whole picture as like what caused it to be, the way it is. And so you can look at George and not having the whole story done. I think it's a big combination of things. I don't think you can just point the fingers at Dan and Dave. There were tons of rumors that I don't know the actor's name, the guy who plays Bronn, but I think he and Cersei, Lyanna Headey, had like kind of dated, and then they broke up and like refused to share the screen with each other. So are there scenes where Bronn is supposed to?
Yeah, he was supposed to be in the dragon pit scene, and he wouldn't he
And,
wouldn't
nope.
film it with her there. So that's why
Yeah.
he like leaves. He
Yeah.
goes and says, "Oh, let's go get that drink or something to
Oh wow.
Podrick."
Yeah.
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 And
That was-
also, Bronn got like a lot more screen time. And George said, like, Bronn wasn't supposed to play this big of a part. Like,
Yeah.
and it's because the ratings were up when he was on screen.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
bet
that's-
that made Cersei happy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, really.
Lady Sarah, how are you? You know,
Yeah,
you just
Lady
come
Sarah.
in,
I like
Hi,
that
guys.
shirt, by the way.
You know, we got
Let's
Star
go.
Wars on. We are talking A Song of Ice and Fire, so you didn't dress.
It's not to say that we won't switch over. I already did talk a little Star Wars.
Oh yeah, we've
Right?
already. Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
it's
please
hard.
don't get
Here
in
we
this
go.
Star Wars talk.
No, yeah,
I'll
it's hard
show
to-
myself.
Yeah,
out.
Lady Becky says Arya's scene with Gendry. I thought it was great. So I'll
Wait,
just-
she didn't like that scene? I was highly criticized. Do you guys know how highly
No,
criticized I
I
was?
was criticized.
I was criticized too.
We both were.
I simply
I was really
said-
criticized because I said they're going to Bone Town, and everyone's like, "What are you guys even doing?" Like, I mean, are you guys just running? Like,
That
what are
was
you
Sir
just,
Matt that said that. That
Does
was
this
Sir Matt.
clown on the
But
left
then-
even watch the show?
But then people were commenting and being like, "Bone Town, LOL." They thought it was hilarious. So it's just how it goes. You
You're
just
never
can't-
gonna
Yeah,
please
but we-
everybody.
I mean,
We're
we
not
did
gonna-
have about 50 emails on that one particular
We did.
episode where I said it's about time, and people were like, "She's a child. How dare you?"
She's
And I
not a
was like-
child.
In her early 20s.
I was
Right.
like, "What?" And they're in my inbox. They're in our inbox, and I was like, "People, hold on a second."
Right.
It's
Ed
just
Sheeran's
because Maisie
cameo.
Williams looks so young.
She's tiny.
true.
She's like a
Well, and that's why they
little
picked them.
nugget.
They were
Right.
older when they're portraying younger.
Right.
I don't know.
Even
And
Who
younger-
is who's the best
Right.
cameo in Game
Right.
of Thrones?
Ed
Well,
Sheeran.
that's- Yeah, Ed
The only one I
Sheeran.
remember is Ed Sheeran. Who else?
How about this year's NFL League MVP? Discount double check State Farm Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah,
is he
that's
in it?
Aaron Rodgers isn't. He isn't. He
Do
dies.
not lie to me.
He's-
Battles
yes, he
game?
is.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. He is in it. He's in the final battle at Winterfell. He dies. He gets burned by a dragon.
Wait, is Sean Bean in it? Does he count?
Whoa.
I mean, it's
Hey.
kind of a cameo, right?
I mean, kind of.
Is Sean
I'm
Bean
so-
doing Sean Bean shit?
One Super Bowl one year, we're gonna get a commercial from HBO, and it's gonna be a preview for season 9 of Game of Thrones. And I don't know how many years it's gonna take, but it's gonna happen. Just wait. I promise.
What comes first, season 9 or wins a winner? Probably season 9. Fuck.
Yeah, probably.
What's another 10 years, folks?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, so
George
So
did
a lot
not
of
have a
these people,
cameo.
a lot of these people I don't know. Wow, there's a lot of cameos, man.
Did George make a cameo?
He does not. He does not. make a
Okay, yeah,
cameo.
he didn't then. Okay.
All right, so here are all the cameos. So Ed Sheeran, right? He talks to Arya. Even more famous than Ed Sheeran is, of course, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, come on, let's go.
More famous.
I mean, he's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a league MVP. Come on. How many commercials do you see Ed Sheeran in? All right. I see Aaron Rodgers
Good
in
question.
tons of State Farm commercials. Okay. David S. Cohen. He's from some show called CIA. Rob McElhaney. He is in It's Always Funny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's always
You
funny.
know him if you saw him. You know it's funny. You know if you saw him. Who are some of these other people?
Roy Doitrace, who did the narration.
Roy Trees.
Yeah,
yeah.
Detroit's. Rest in pepperonis. He has
Mhm.
passed, but wonderful narrator.
There's a
Did a
lot of
great
people. There's a
job.
lot of singers in here from bands I've never heard of.
Probably a lot of Dave and Dan's friends, like Hollywood community of like friends, like probably people that live in their same neighborhood ended up getting cameos on the show.
New York Mets
That's kinda
pitcher Noah Snydergaard. I don't know who that is. He's in there. The drummer from Coldplay. All
That's
Let's
what
go.
Becky just said.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, is
Um,
Coldplay from Ireland? Lady Becky,
don't
what's
know.
going on? Where are they from?
Yeah, Lady Becky is our resident fan.
The
from
metal-
Coldplay is from England.
Yeah,
England,
the metal
okay.
band Mastodon. They play Wildlings, so that's
Hey,
pretty cool.
they're pretty heavy.
They're real heavy.
Let's go. I like Mastodon, dude.
Yeah. Then another one is Sigur Rós. It's another Icelandic
Cigar?
Seriously.
Bah.
Sigur. Seeger. You know, however they say it over there.
Hey, Bob
No,
Seger?
no, I don't know. I was just
Yeah, Bob Seger.
Bob Seeger. That'd be
Night
sweet.
Moves.
I would-
That's a good cameo. I like that
Seriously.
one.
Bob Seger would be a good one. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Aaron Rodgers. He's one of the guards, and then he gets burnt to a crisp. But,
Spoilers.
and so it says NFL MVP, Game of Thrones cast member Aaron Rodgers. That's what it's gonna read
Guys,
on his plaque
In Canton. Yeah.
in Canton. It's gonna say
Let's go.
3-time league MVP, Super Bowl champion, Game of Thrones extra.
Becky is over here saying only Americans care about NFL guy. I disagree because when I illegally stream NFL games, I would do it on BT Sports, which is in the UK. Just saying.
Becky's always given us sass about our American
True.
sports. I don't get it. It's crazy.
You're just
Guys-
jealous of our COVID numbers. That's all.
Gee,
We're winning.
they're going down. They're going down.
There's only one way to go.
Well, let's
I will
hope-
say
yeah,
I
mean,
did.
geez.
So I will say I did get. So I have now received both doses for anybody who has not gotten them.
How you feeling? You feeling all right?
Because there is a lot of like rumors and speculation. So I will say the first one I got, everyone's like, "Oh, is your arm sore?" And I was like, "Okay." I mean, I guess it was like no different than getting a flu shot. The second one, yeah, that one's for real, man. You feel sick. A lot like half my like at work was out, like just like really really tired, just like sick. I don't know, but I
Just
felt I was like
shot, yeah.
one day afterwards, and I was I was fine. So I think
Yeah, they
it's
say
the
it's about
first
12 hours.
Yeah, it's like I think the first one implants the microchip, the second one turns it off.
Right.
So yeah.
You have to have Geek Squad come out and fix it.
How's your
I
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is sick
Like some
now.
diverse
So
stuff. No.
I'm picking it
Hardwired.
up all the way down here.
seriously, I know. It's like now Steve Jobs. It's like not now. Bill Gates can tell exactly what I'm doing 24/7. It's like, why would Bill Gates want to know what I'm doing 24/7? I'm not doing anything.
He wants to know about the ending of the song.
Are the black tinted SUVs following you around everywhere and parked outside
Mhm.
your residence?
Mhm.
Guys,
True.
hold on. I got to derail this because otherwise I want to start talking about 1947 and the alien spacecraft that did crash in Roswell. Okay. And
Well, that's
it's
fine.
real.
I'm down to talk about that because
It's
isn't
real.
it interesting? Okay. That it's like why do we have all these nuclear weapons as a society? Is it really because we all need more nukes to stop each other, or is it that all the governments have decided we need all these nukes in case they come? Suddenly we start building all these nuclear weapons after Roswell. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And
That's
now we're
a
all
good
getting
point.
microchips in our arm. Is it
Right.
going to be like an Order 66 thing so that we can all turn into soldiers when the aliens come?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Channel your inner Obi-Wan, okay?
Oh my gosh.
We're surviving Order 66. Okay, we're getting out of there.
Seriously.
Wow. Guys, I gotta tell you guys a story. When I was a youngster, I was in 7th grade, and I was playing the game Independence Day on PS1, PlayStation 1. I don't know if you remember that, Matt. Independence Day. And I just the previous night watched the movie Independence Day, and I was playing the game Independence Day on Independence Day. And I go out to the mailbox, and you'll say, well, the mail is not delivered on it. It was delivered the day before. I hadn't checked it yet. Mom sent me out there. The president of the United States of America had written me a letter. All right. And I
Go
thought
play.
he was asking me to fight off an alien invasion as a 7th grader. And I was so pumped. Just wanted to share that with you guys.
Who would've been in
President Bill
trouble?
Pullman,
Who?
Bill Pullman.
we will not go quietly into the night.
Yeah.
Okay. That guy.
This is our Independence Day.
That
So why
guy.
were you actually getting a letter from the president?
It was actually something silly. It was really something about I had like a bone disease and had like a thing in my arm, and I was like all kind of like whatever. My cousin worked for Hillary Clinton, was a secretary to her, and so like knew I had a surgery. She's an older cousin, and like they sent it to me, and that'd be kind of funny. I thought it was time to go to war, and I was like going to defend our planet in like a last Starfighter situation where I was playing the video game. I had done so well and beaten the aliens that they had called upon me to man the, drone spacecraft to fight off the aliens. And I was like, let's go.
What Ez lies about is this is actually this year. This happened.
This happened just yesterday.
So wait, you said your cousin works for Hillary?
Did.
So how many of the 35,000 emails did you?
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Well,
So did you think that it was time to put down the book and pick up the sword? That's
Seriously.
oh wow.
Question.
thought you got the call from Blood Raven.
Yeah, I did. I felt that. Yes, I was upstairs nerding out, and I said, "It's time to defend the planet." So
You know
Captain
something
Planet.
Song of Ice and Fire related that we kind of touched on when we did the YouTube videos about what we were most excited for prequels. But did you see that they said that one of the prequel series is going to be animated?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, did they say that exactly?
Yeah, they said it. But they just said there is a prequel being animated. It came along with the news, but it didn't say it was Dunk and Egg, because I assume it would be Dunk and Egg if it was.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I don't think it's Dunk and Egg, because they announced it like in conjunction, right? So like, why wouldn't they just say like Dunk and Egg is going to be an animated film, or I'm sorry, animated series?
It could just be something.
Might be The Long Night.
Might just be its own thing.
I think it might be The Long Night.
So the Ice Dragon is
sense.
they're supposed to animate his book that is not really Game of Thrones related, although a lot of it.
I read it.
Right. It sounds pretty Game of Thrones esque, I'll say.
Yes,
Could
it's
be like
children's.
could be like a tale that is told inside of a Game of Thrones. That's supposed to be an animated movie. Like that was announced like a couple years ago that they were in the very early stages of possibly doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. The Ice Dragon, it's really not long enough to be a movie. Like they're gonna have to elaborate on a lot of it, because it's like a short story basically. I've seen people say, is the Ice Dragon from that story the dragon that's under Winterfell, which is really interesting. I don't know if I think it is. I'd have to think about it more. But I just wonder if it'll be The Long Night, because I think one of the issues with the series that they were going to shoot, I think one of the issues with it is it has to have a lot of fantastical elements, and I bet you they feel like that could be a better suited cartoon than having to pay for all those special effects. Maybe I mean I could be completely wrong. I kind of hope Dunk and Egg is animated for some reason. I don't know why, but I keep going back to that.
I think it would. I think it'd be better. I
think it'd be cool.
I just think there's a lot more you can do with it if it's animated. It's kind of meant for a younger audience.
Yeah.
Slightly. I mean, it's still meant for like the same audience, but it definitely is. I've always described it as it's a much lighter tale than everything else.
Yeah. And still gives us those awesome connections back to the main series. I mean, really, the second time I read Hedge Knight, I just realized how much stuff refers back to the main series and stuff that we care about. It's just like, this is such a great resource, like to reread. It's so fun. I also think it's like some of George's best writing.
It is really good. Andy, have you had a chance? I know you're kind of reading through the series. Have you had a chance to read any of that stuff, like any of the histories or any of the stuff?
Yeah, the World of Ice and Fire. I have that book too. I've been kind of reading it as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, the way I went through, I read the series first, and then these other books started to kind of come out, World of Ice and Fire, and then Fire and Blood, and they're cool. I really like them. I think that it's even if it's not as dense, it's just an outline or whatever. I think it's really kind of cool to see some of those connections. I don't know. I've thought like, does George need to do that? Is some of the stuff in the like we talk about Summerhall, we talk about the Tourney at Harrenhal, Tower of Joy, like he kind of knows what those events, what happened and how they're going to relate to the series. But a lot of times I think he wants to pencil it down because it like matters and he wants to kind of go through it. And since he already is doing that, it kind of turns into some stuff that we can, consume. And so I don't know. I think it's interesting that that's where we're at. Like we're getting more of that than we are getting the ending of the series. Just did he need to do that? Did he need to finish it up for his own self? I mean, it's a little more than I think one would need. If you know, I don't know, Jimmy. I mean,
well, I think so. This kind of ties back to like the show ending and then the book ending and what's going to be important. And there's a lot more things to tie up in the books, and I think all the supplement material, even Dunk and Egg, enhances that ending of whatever he's going to do. Also, Annie, I think you're really going to enjoy Dunk and Egg if you haven't read it. It's so phenomenal.
So good.
It's so good. Like
so good.
and
You'll
if
blitz
you-
through it. It's short.
The audiobook
really
is top notch. I mean, it's amazing.
100%.
what was it? Only a
Um,
couple of hours or something, like
Yeah,
audiobook wise.
it's just a collection of short stories, so it's not
Yeah.
it's not terrible to get through. John Garcia says, "What would you say to a short 1 to 3 season show of the Reigns of Castamere events?" And I say,
Yeah.
let's go. I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. that'd be
Absolutely. I was
cool.
singing Reigns of Castamere in my shower today. By the way,
Oh,
I'm a songbird. I mean, it was beautiful.
bro.
I feel like the warm
Really?
water really loosens up my false folds, you know, and I can really get that. I can belt those notes. You know?
I mean, after the last episode we posted though with Jimmy, that was the main thing. It's like, look, all right, the voice is there, right? You know, we got the muscles, we got the brains, we got the glasses, we got the
The
hair.
full package.
But I was
got
like,
the books. I mean, come on,
the
folks.
books. They were like, can he sing though? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think he
Oh.
can sing. And then here he is blowing us out of the water. I'm getting kind of sick of it, quite frankly.
No, they didn't call me the show stealer for nothing. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Slick my hair back.
you know that you got that nice little kind of that reminds me of like Clark
Razor
Kent,
Ramon.
like-
I do get Clark
Okay.
Kent a lot. When I was in wrestling, that
Okay.
was kind of my moniker.
yeah, that's my guy. So
Ooh.
So do you guys think that the HBO Max, which is ultimately AT&T, is going to be like that? They're going to use the Game of Thrones verse to kind of be its kind of counter to. I mean, they own DC. They own
100%.
DC. They own DC as well. So DC is huge, and then you know the other stuff that Warner Brothers owns. But I mean, do you think that Game of Thrones is going to be it's sort of like we need to challenge Disney Plus and like Netflix and stuff like that? But
I 100% think so, and I think you're going to see it all interconnect. And I think they're honest to God, they're probably hoping George finishes the books, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did get a movie. Like they don't do a TV show, they just do a movie shot, right? But it'd be really hard to get those actors back and whatnot. But yeah, I think like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and like what Disney's doing with WandaVision, all this stuff, and then like, I mean, clearly Amazon Prime is gunning for like the Lord of the Ring show and Tolkien movies. Like they're doing another trilogy now. There's just so much stuff happening, and I think that HBO sees a cash cow here. And this is a very, very interesting point. I actually want to say this, and I was going to tell you guys this in a PM. I forgot. Did you know that during this pandemic year, the #1 stream show was Game of Thrones,
wow,
even
Really?
after the finale? So I know everyone's kind of like, oh, the fandom, you know, no one talks about it anymore. Like, that's not really true. I think people would like to go back to Westeros. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that there's actually a lot of potential. We just have to hope that we get somebody
Right.
that's as good as like John Favreau, or how do
Yeah.
you say his name? Like, I hope we get
Favreau,
someone
yeah.
with that vision, right?
Yeah. Well, when you look at it comparatively to the other streaming services, like Netflix is like ultimately the one that's oddly enough, like in terms of numbers, they do like a leader, but Netflix is in this weird position where they don't have original content. So Netflix has to pay an insane amount of money to start building up these like sort of brands. I mean, that's why Disney Plus had such an enormous advantage when it came out, because like, well, here's our back catalog, and it's like, you know, outrageous. Now the problem kind of, I think, is the branding of HBO Max, because when I think HBO Max, I'm just thinking HBO stuff. I'm not thinking, oh yeah, well, they also own Warner Brothers, which they have like the DC streaming service. You know, they have all these different things, and it's not like Disney Plus. I get it, right? Okay, I can go there. I can watch Toy Story. I can watch Marvel. I can watch Star Wars. Everything that Disney owns. But when I think of like HBO Max, I'm like, well,
Harry Potter.
I go on there and I look and I say, oh yeah, Looney Tunes. Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, that. And it's just, I think they should have called it something different. I think they should have called it like.
Well, they
Warner
are also
Brothers
going to be
Pixar
putting
or
out
something.
Harry Potter content too, which
You're
is
right,
going to, that's just going to be fucking huge. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, John Garcia asked a question, and I'm actually really curious because I think
no.
Matt is going to have a good answer to this, and I can see Lady Adrian also having a good answer to this. Who would you cast as a young? And I want to know how old he is before I answer this question. But who would you have as a young Tywin?
Ooh.
I said Robert Pattinson because he was amazing in For the King on Netflix, or The King. I'm sorry,
Robert
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, dude, he's a phenomenal actor. I think.
Well,
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Who I actually think would be really good to play him, although he is now. Yep, I would say Matt Smith. If Matt Smith weren't cast in the show, Matt Smith would be amazing as him.
Yeah.
Although I will say it's gonna be. I'm having this hard time with Matt Smith playing. Not that I know he's going to be amazing, but it's just going to be hard for me because when I think of Matt Smith, I think of the Doctor, Doctor Who.
See, I think
it's like it's such a right, but for me, it's like such a stretch to be like, Matt Smith, you're like this good guy, man. You can't go be this like brutal, like seeing Matt Smith like swearing, you know what I mean, and like killing people and all this stuff. It's just it's gonna be difficult for me.
When he was playing Prince Philip,
he can.
I mean, there were just like these moments where he would like, and even in Doctor Who, like when he would have his really intense, like he could play really intense, like you would not want to cross him. But like it was always kind of tempered by his goofy, because he was a goofy doctor, but yeah, I could see him.
Oh, I can see him doing it. I just think it's going to be hard for me to like envision somebody who I really only know as this goofy guy, then playing this like really like serious role. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because that's how I associate.
You know who's like who could play super creepy is David Tennant. There is a movie that they did that was actually filmed in Portland that I watched. It came out a couple of years ago, and he is the creepiest creep ever. And I actually met him at the con in Portland. Literally, like I watched that movie and then I went to the con and I met him and like got a picture and everything. And
he's the same. He's the same thing for me. Is David Tennant was the Doctor in Doctor Who before Matt Smith, and so again, I would have such a hard time because his Doctor is even more kind of like Matt Smith's Doctor is kind of like dumb, goofy in a way, whereas like David Tennant's is more like kind of sophisticated, goofy. Matt
Smith is like Hufflepuff goofy, and David Tennant is like Ravenclaw.
Oh, here we go.
Goofy.
Right. Yes, that is an accurate. Yeah.
James McAvoy is what Becky says, and I kind of see it. It's the guy from Split. I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how about the guy from
see a Hobbit?
Yeah, actually, if you want to go down that route too, Michael Fassbender would be.
Oh yeah.
Yes. He would be.
Yes.
He would crush it as a younger. Michael Fassbender, pretty much in any role I will watch.
I gotcha. Hey Matt, I have a question for you and WandaVision. Do you think Michael Fassbender could show up as Magneto? Yes. Do you think even better that we might get old man Magneto, aka Sir Ian McKellen, aka Gandalf?
Well,
the greatest of all time?
Total spoilers for today's episode of WandaVision for anyone who has not seen it yet. As really? Like, hold on a second, I haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen it? Oh well,
why are we spoiling stuff?
It's about to be spoiled.
Why are we spoiling stuff?
So in today's episode, there is an enormous reveal at the end, in which
I can't hear you.
I
cannot hear you.
The last episode we talked about Quicksilver coming.
Let me know
back.
when he's done.
Well, we see Quicksilver in this episode, but it's
Resurrection
not the Marvel cinematic Quicksilver. It is I forget the actor's name.
Evan Peters?
But from the X-Men movie. It's at the X-Men
From Days of
Quicksilver show.
Futures Past?
Yep. So and Apocalypse. So they did because we know that the next phase for Marvel is, you can come back on this. The next phase for Marvel is the multiverse, and so they're bringing the X-Men in. They have that's the next big thing since Disney bought Fox. They're totally bringing the X-Men in. It's going to be sweet. Now the only unfortunate thing is, I think maybe you could do this. Is you go grab basically Robert Downey Jr. from another verse and have him return as Iron Man, because if I do not get
Annie,
Hugh
just give me a
Jackman
thumbs up when I can come back in.
with Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark on
No
screen
spoilers?
at some point, then I'm gonna be upset because we need it. Okay, like for me, the biggest travesty in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was that we did not get Edward Norton and Robert Downey Jr. on screen at the same time, because that just would have been acting perfection.
They probably couldn't handle each other on set.
I don't think they could. I think they actually don't like each other, which is why Edward Norton dropped out. There was a lot of rumors about that. But I mean, Mark Ruffalo, I think, is actually better as the Hulk than Edward Norton would be. It's just not really, like, when I think of the Hulk, Edward Norton is not somebody who I would imagine to play him. So I think Mark Ruffalo he's totally a Bruce Banner. He's so much better. But same concept is like, well, I still just would have loved to see Edward Norton and Robert Downey Jr. on screen at the same time, because they're just, I think they would have really would have had some magical acting.
Did you say they don't like each other?
That was some rumors I remember reading back in the day, but who knows? I mean,
I would be interested.
At that point in time, I think you could bet at that point in time, right? Keep in mind, at that point, like, Robert Downey Jr. was not how we look at him today, like, because he was like,
he's back in his glory days.
He was really like Iron Man turned him into the actor we know today. But at that point in time, Edward Norton, I would say, would have been the bigger actor.
Oh, for
Dude, Edward Norton, yeah,
way for sure, especially back then.
X, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Edward Norton, his fatal flaw is I think his ego tends to get in the way, and people that work with him don't usually have the best things to say. But I have heard him on on Mark Maron's podcast, and he seems pretty chill and legit. So maybe he's just one of those people that, like, I don't know, it's hard to understand or something. Or
I could also see Disney, because that was at that point Disney, because the first Iron Man movie was not Disney, because they had bought Marvel right after that, and so then even though the plans were still in set to do the whole Marvel thing, but I could also see Disney saying, I mean, I know that with, it's kind of different because, but this wasn't Disney. You look at like Star Wars with George using Samuel L. Jackson, like, if you look at the rest of his career, a lot of the stuff's not really kid friendly. Not that they're always worried about it, but the difference with Edward Norton is, okay, there's a difference between being in a movie where there's a lot of killing and swearing. Edward Norton is pretty much most famously known for a movie in which he's like anti-Semitic, like,
oh my god,
I
was like, thinking that one.
That's all I think about when I think of him.
When I think of Edward Norton, I would say American is probably what I think most of the internet thinks of, and I can see Disney being like, we don't want to, And it's unfortunate because sometimes you get typecast in some of these roles and stuff like that. But I mean, it's such, for him, it's a pretty iconic movie for him.
He's had a really intense role, like
really intense. Yeah.
And well, I remember, I think his breakout role was I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's a Richard Gere.
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear.
Yeah, Primal Fear.
That movie, yeah.
So I think, like, he almost has like a filter of like untrustworthiness, which is unfortunate. But yeah, acting has to be the profession, like, of all time.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at a lot of the actors. A lot of the actors they use now for stuff. I mean, I guess Disney also did bring in Samuel L. Jackson to play Nick Fury. Well, no, because he was already cast as him in the thing. But I mean, you look at a lot of these people now. I mean, a lot of the actors you don't really see in. I would say a lot of the people you view in Marvel and Star Wars and stuff like that now, they're not really in like movies where I would say there's like a ton of like nudity or like, you know, like stuff that's not like they certainly play within like a certain boundary, I would say.
So could you cast Edward Norton as Tywin?
Yes, could.
I mean, I'm in. You know what?
Well, he's too short. He's too short.
Well, you know what they need to do? They need to figure out a way.
Edward Norton's a pretty short guy.
Dude, he's like a smaller dude.
Dude, I know who they can cast as Blood Raven.
Why do we know so much about Edward Norton?
Dude, you know who should play Blood Raven in the TV show?
Who?
Bryan Cranston.
Oh, whoa. That's interesting.
Oh, I would. Oh my God.
Well, you know, that's something I hadn't thought about. Is we will see Blood Raven.
We will see Blood Raven when he was the man.
Yeah.
When he's carrying out the king's justice. I mean, that's the thing. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, we read the announcement and like we know that they're writing the scripts and whatnot now. But like this is really exciting news if you're a fan of A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, that's true.
And just George's work in general. Like we are going to see Dunk on screen, folks. That's ridiculous. Yeah. I'm so
well. Even with House of the Dragon, what do you think they're going to show us of like? Because at some point they're going to be gathering allies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going to see Winterfell again. We're going to see a lot of these other places.
I wonder how much they'll dress it down since it was in the past, but like really the keep shouldn't be that much different.
No, it shouldn't be.
They can reuse the set. I mean, I don't know.
They should 100% reuse the set for well, I think the set is mostly green screen for the King's Landing. I mean, they film in Czech Republic, is that where they film it? Or no, it starts with
what
Croatia.
was it, Andy?
Croatia.
That's what it meant. Yeah.
You can take a cruise there. I actually almost did it.
You know what scene from Fire and Blood would be really cool to see on screen? That I think would be a total like WTF borderline, kind of like Red Wedding-esque climax would be where is this, like, okay, it was the sacred holy pool where Queen Alicent goes when she's pregnant the first time with all of her like ladies in waiting, and she's supposed to go and bathe in these like magical holy waters, and then the Faith come and they start to attack her, and then she ends up having a miscarriage, and then like her ladies protect her, like Padme's ladies. That's all. Sorry. You guys want to talk about the Phantom Menace now?
Wow, Padme. Wow, really?
I'm always down to talk to Phantom Menace.
Can I give you trivia about the Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Please.
So there's a scene, I think it's a deleted scene, and I can't remember where they're arriving at, but it was filmed at Hever Castle, on the Italian loggia at Hever Castle in England, and I've been there.
You mean where Anakin and Padme get married? On the pretty balcony?
It's a deleted scene, and it's in Phantom Menace, and it's like, sorry, I'm gonna have to look it up. But it was really funny because we went to England, and like we came back and we started watching like Star Wars movies because our son had never seen it, hadn't seen any of the Star Wars movies. So we started with Phantom Menace, and as we're watching it, I was like, dude, that looks so familiar to me. And I, of course, like started Googling it and fell into a rabbit hole. But like, it was like they filmed it actually at the loggia, and then of course they added all the other stuff in to make it look a little bit more.
Oh, right here.
Crazy. But
yeah, it is on Naboo. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I saw license.
Someone said, Lady Sarah, were you talking about Maiden Pool Hot Springs?
Yeah, I believe that's the hot hiking hotspot.
And for all you, actually, I have to have answers to this. Who would play Dunk in Dunk and Egg in a live action Dunk and Egg?
Oh,
I mean, that's a
We only know that he has a scar and that he's big and tall. That's
That's some
literally
shoes
it.
to fill.
Chris
I mean-
Hemsworth.
I was gonna say Dave Bautista, but I think he's too buff.
Too old.
How dare you?
Sorry.
Yeah,
we
'cause
gotta
Dunk
have
has to
somebody that's
be-
like 24.
Dunk has to be younger. Yeah,
He has to
he'd
be
have
tall, and he definitely has to be a little lanky.
He's gonna be a nobody. He's gonna be somebody and then you
And
turn
then he'll
him
be
into-
somebody.
then he
This
will
might
be
sound
somebody.
really weird, but when the Freddie with the Queen Bohemian Rhapsody movie came out,
So
the guy
good.
that plays Brian May, the guitarist, for some reason when I was watching that, I was like, why do like this guy just like makes me think of like Dunk for some reason, and he's got like a big curly wig. You know, it's like it's not even
Mhm.
appropriately period, you know, like looking, but like he just stuck out to me. I don't know what his name is. He's probably, like you said, a nobody English actor, but like he was just, I don't know, he had this look. So I'd be really interested to see how they go direction.
I'm sorry, guys.
I will say
Yeah.
real quick, if you look that guy up
Who?
and you look at him next to photos of like young Brian May, I mean, it's spot on.
Close.
I mean,
Which guy?
it is
Who?
like the guy who plays Brian May, the guitarist from Queen in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. If you look at him and then you look at a picture of young
Right.
Brian May, I mean, it is spot on. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's uncanny.
Someone said Dunk should just be Tom Cruise, but just give him some 6-inch lifts.
They could do what they do in the Lord of the Rings. You know, they could do the aspect, you know, ratio and
Wait,
proportion.
you mean they weren't 2 foot tall?
Willem Lee is his name.
William Lee?
Yeah, he's not really been in a lot.
Let's
to
put
be
money on it, Matt. What kind of
He's-
you got bitcoins?
Oh
Yeah.
my crypto
Becky
currency.
with
He's
the
been-
flaming comment.
he's been in a lot more like TV shows. It's kind of like a couple episodes here, a couple episodes here, but he's really not been in a lot of movies.
Dude, Becky says that we should just get the same actor as Hodor since we know they're related anyways.
Mhm.
Well, you know what?
He's
Hodor.
actually he's a voice actor in Dragon Quest, Sir Jimmy.
Who is?
Dragon Quest 11?
The guy, Willem Lee, yeah.
Well, sign me up. I'm in. Dragon Quest 11 is a great game.
You're in, yeah.
I only played it for 70 hours and still haven't beat it.
It's
Hmm.
long.
Dude, it's so long. It's like 99
So-
hours or some
long.
madness.
It's fantastic though.
Yeah, people are like, well, you can beat the game in 60, but then you got to play an extra 40 to get the real ending. I'm like, excuse
So
me?
I'm trying to think here. Actors who could play Dunk.
Kevin Nash.
And you need
Nice.
somebody.
Chuck Norris.
I
You
mean,
need
give him
somebody.
some stilts.
Are we really fighting about this? Like,
we need to know who's going to play
We're
Dunk.
not
This
fighting
is
about
good.
it. We're trying to come up
I'm
with.
fighting
who-
with you right now,
Well,
buddy. Let me tell you.
Well, who do you
Okay.
think it
My
is? Who do you think
only
would you cast?
Peter
What
Dinklage.
about the kid?
Peter
What about
Dinklage.
Egg?
That's totally gonna be a nobody because he's gonna be some child actor nobody's ever heard of.
But then they could have a different actor for each pacing, or you know what I'm trying to say, which each chunk of the story.
Mhm.
Well, maybe if they had to go a year between filming, if it was a typical HBO style show, then they could probably carry the same kid till like Egg's like a teenager, maybe.
Yeah, you can do that. We look at like Stranger Things. You know, they're also going to be playing kids, even though they're slightly older.
Yeah, it did something weird with chapter 2. They like de-aged the kids that played them. Like they were trying to make these like 15-year-old kids look like they were still in like the summer of like being 13, which like again, they look so young. You didn't have to do that like Irishman, Robert De Niro, Scorsese,
That was weird.
anti-aging.
Yeah, let's
tech
not do that
content,
again.
But yeah,
You want to talk about it? You want to talk about a movie that's long? The
Never watched it.
Irishman.
Never
you
watched
gotta
Saw the
It's like
trailer.
it's
Hour
like
at a
6
time.
hours.
I'm
It's
good.
long.
I'm
It should
good.
it should have just been a
Long
mini
movies, like-
series.
You didn't like it?
I couldn't get through it. And I like long movies. Like I'm in for long movies, but that I was just like, it's not ending.
As a
Why?
fan of The Departed, I was excited. And then I don't know. I watched the trailer. I was just like, I don't know. Didn't pull me.
Yeah.
One day I'll try it. One day.
increments.
I am actually really big on that now. I break movies up because I can't keep my attention span longer than an hour. I blame
when
television.
each episode of like Mandalorian and WandaVision's like 30 to 40 minutes, it's like it's
Yeah.
really hard to sit through anything that's not Lord of the Rings or Star Wars anymore.
But isn't it
Oh.
amazing though that we can sit through an entire extended edition of Lord of the Rings and it's so captivating and it's
Well,
so
they're the
good.
best movies of all time. So
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, come on.
they are tremendous. I just rewatched them in 4K, and let me tell you what, the
Did
journey.
you really?
Oh, I mean,
Who are you?
Like
They're getting re-released in theaters and
they're in IMAX right now. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Which, why would you do that right now when I can't go?
yeah,
It's fucked
sounds
up.
fun.
So here's a dirty confession. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for this?
Well, I suppose we are.
I hadn't seen Lord of the Rings since I saw them in theaters, all the way back.
What? Wow.
So I just rewatched them like a couple weeks ago. First time I've rewatched. I've never seen the extendeds all the way through. I've seen like clips and stuff, but like I never sat through all the extendeds that much. So
Well, let me tell you a little story about the extended editions.
Like
I wish we were live on Up Talking Tolkien right now, so I could
what?
tell this story.
yeah, where's Lane?
What?
Well, as comes over, and I think I had it on or something, and he's like, "What's this scene? Like, what's this scene?" He had never seen the extended edition. He's like, "I've never seen this," and I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point, like you told me there was like the extended edition. I said, I'll do anything for you, baby. Like, let me know. Like, let's get this. Let's go. I mean, it just.
I had ripped them off. I actually still have it. I still have my.
You
digital.
did rip them off. Yeah,
I
you
did.
gave them
Oh,
to me.
I torrented it. Yeah, I
You
still
gave them to
actually
me.
have them, yeah.
Because you on your flights you used to watch them. You know when you were.
It's my flying movies. I watched the extended editions of Lord of the Rings.
I think
I
that's
haven't
like
seen-
that could just be like the last movie you could ever watch and be fine and then be okay. And
Yeah,
just
you could
be
put a bullet in my
okay.
head after. I'd be fine.
Just
When
end it
Fro-
now.
little Frodo's getting on the ship,
going
I'm like,
down down into the rivers of Mordor.
I could do it.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
we do need to take this time. This live stream for Bend the Knee is sponsored by White Claw. If you haven't grabbed it already, just remember there are no laws when you're drinking the claws. And also brought to you by the Bend the Knee Patreon. If you haven't checked it out, please join. The reason why we are here as Banner Men and Banner Women is because we support the Patreon here for the podcast, which has been running for 2 years plus strong, has been featured in the New York Times and I believe Forbes, and really is giving you the most quality content you can get for A Song of Ice and Fire.
And in a book.
And in a book.
That's true.
And really, when it comes down to it, there's really no better way to get more in depth for the series whenever we're waiting on the Winds of Winter than the Patreon content that were released. So, cheers.
Wow.
Well,
cheers.
It's a good thing Ez is recording because now we're just taking that and click.
I mean,
Yeah,
putting
that
right
is
at the
just-
top of the episode.
Give me my ad reads, boys.
We're gonna send you something for that because my lord,
There
Hey,
you
get
go.
that sponsorship, guys.
Adrian. Wow, seriously.
This is brought to you by
Wow.
Historical Fiction.
First,
We did
first
have
round
somebody.
edits are done. It's going to Sir Jimmy next week to read.
Beta reader. What's good?
See, look right here, Lady Adrian and Lady Annie, because Lady Annie is writing a book. You guys
Yeah.
can be like, hey, look, help, here you go. You can say you take a look as an author, and then
Take a look. It's in a book.
because how far
making connections and networking.
because your book's pretty long, right, Lady Annie? I remember you're always like tweeting about it, like that you're writing.
Yeah, I'm getting through like the second draft. I have a goal for 125K, but that's give or take like some stuff I have to add. So
What's your book about, if you don't mind me asking?
it's a fantasy. I kind of have it as like a
You piqued my interest.
it's like Game of Thrones meets Star Wars, but like a supernatural twist.
Let's
Involving-
fucking go.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
if you need
down.
a beta reader, I'm in. Okay.
Oh my.
Done.
It's not a huge deal, but I do run a little thing on the side here. It's called the Fantasy Network, where I review fantasy. I have 1,200 subscribers, and Tad Williams retweeted me. Not a big deal, but
No, big deal. Big deal.
I would
I'm
love.
pretty sure John Gwynn liked one of the tweets the other day because I was
John
like,
Gwynn.
who just liked this tweet I responded to? And I was like, who's that guy? And I was like, oh, just
John fucking Gwynn. John Gwynn
John Glenn?
No,
John Glenn, yes, the astronaut.
John
Yeah.
Glenn is much
Yes,
better.
astronaut.
Sir Jimmy went and got all famous on us.
Listen, authors like me. I mean, I get what they're trying to put on the page. I pull it out of the text and I make it tangible for us readers.
Literally the best wingman that ever existed.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
John Glenn? I mean, probably.
John
I mean,
Glenn.
Representing Ohio.
Go wingman.
Ohio. Amen.
That's right. That's right.
So if
Okay.
anyone is looking for good fantasy to read while we wait for the Winds of Winter, I highly recommend John Gwynn's Faithful in the Fallen series. It is the best combat ever written in the fantasy genre, bar none.
I am going to say Jimmy can hook you on a series. He is very good at selling you on. So the Tad Williams stuff, you told me the names of the books or the series and the swords. And you tell me about a magical sword, I'm in.
Oh, I mean,
I'm in.
So people say,
Boy, do I have a story for you.
oh,
A
look
guy
at
named King Arthur.
well, that's it, man. Arthurian legend, and then you take stuff from Tolkien. So, I'm gonna go on a Tad Williams rant just for a second. So, and it kind of pertains since he inspired George, but Memory, Sorrow, Thorn. You're like, oh, that's the trilogy name. Okay, well, Memory, Sorrow, Thorn are the name of 3 magical swords in the books that just happen to be very detrimental if they come together. And right there, that sells me. But he takes like all of the Arthurian legends, and then you have all of the Tolkien, tropes that he introduced to the genre, and then Tad Williams just executes them better than anybody ever. I mean, it's a way that isn't written as dense as Tolkien, but it is as digestible as what George has done. Like, I think George is like a natural heir to Tad Williams. I think that's like a fair statement.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I was totally in. When you pitched that, I was just like, wow.
There's magical mirrors, there's magical rings, there's magical swords.
What?
Oh, dude, it's sick. There's
Magical
giants.
mirrors?
I've got to read it. I've got to read it.
Fucking giants.
Put more
As we'll
magic
read,
in my
as we'll
book.
read literally anything involving a magical sword.
Anything.
There's trolls, like little trolls, like small trolls, and they speak
I don't
in
trust
a
them.
language. I mean,
Question: is a
Already don't trust him.
lightsaber a magical sword?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Is
Matt.
Is it a magical sword?
Yes, it is. It's a kyber crystal that speaks to the Jedi.
I mean,
I
Annie
suppose
is
it
putting in
is.
her book. Is it a magical sword, Annie? Is it a lightsaber a magical sword?
I believe so, yes.
There it is. It's a
Now-
author word.
I'd like to make an announcement here real quick. We got a couple authors in here working on different things. I also have been working on a book as well. And it is, it's a comedy book. So it's just a bunch of jokes, actually. So basically a couple of them real quick for you guys. Why was the tomato blushing? Because he saw the salad dressing. Okay.
That's a good one.
Am I off to a good start? Am I off
You're
to a
doing
pretty good
great.
start?
7 hells.
7. Gods, I was strong.
Gods, I was funny then.
Gods, I was.
Interracial Creations in chat here. Interesting name. It says, I might have to check out the Patreon since you guys are local Columbus boys like me, right?
OH, baby. OH.
OH. Okay.
Matt, can I get an IO, bro?
Io, baby.
Let's go.
Hey, Columbus is a wonderful place. The North Market has the best pierogies I've ever had in my life.
The North Market is amazing, actually.
It's
legit.
tremendous. I mean, it's tremendous.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Coffee's
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh, over here. Yeah. By the way, as did just get this,
Nice.
the king,
The king.
Okay.
Let's go.
vintage.
Bend
You
the
know.
knee.
Seriously, to the king. Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. He says a lightsaber is not magical.
Who said that?
See, I don't know. I don't know about that because I think anybody can use it, but it is more enhanced if a Jedi is using it. So when I think of like a magical sword, is Valyrian steel magical? It has magical properties, but does the sword itself? I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, I suppose
How you
it's.
define magic.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what Becky
Right.
says. Yeah, she said, is science magic? And I said, it depends on how ignorant the people are. Right?
Right.
Guys, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Take
Right.
it easy.
So, like,
Back it
Easy
up,
there,
Han
Solo. Yeah, easy
Like
there, Solo.
Sting is a magical sword, even though it's a shorter sword, right? Because it's
Protects
around
orcs.
orcs and stuff. It glows, and
Yep.
so
Hmm. And I believe that sorrow in Memory Sorrow Thorn can only be picked up if it's held by the person it wants to be held by.
Right.
Which is really
like,
interesting.
Like the Master Sword, like Link from A Legend of Zelda,
Yeah.
his sword is magical because it literally defeats anything that is evil, whatever that qualifies.
Like the Elder Wand from Harry Potter.
Yes, we're tackling
That's
the
definitely
real
magical.
issues tonight. Acting. We're casting people. We're talking about magical swords. Does a lightsaber apply? What is science and magic? Are they the same? I mean, this is
I just want to
riveting.
say there are 4 planets plus the sun in Aquarius right now, and in like 24 to 48 hours, the moon's going to be in it too. So if there's been some weird energy, like there's a retrograde and like way too many things going on in Aquarius. So that's probably why we're here right now.
Do they still count Pluto as a planet?
Yes, they do. Pluto is actually in Capricorn right now.
Wait, did we bring
Well,
it back?
good.
Did we bring back Pluto? Because that's silly.
Hold on.
I'm voting for whoever.
And it's considered a dwarf planet. And I got upset because like I'm so old that I still remember that it was a planet, and I was sad.
My
As far as I'm
8-year-old
concerned,
asked me,
Pluto
like,
is a
I don't like
planet.
that Pluto's not a planet.
Mhm.
I've seen asteroids bigger than Pluto, folks. Okay, I got a telescope in that corner. Do you see?
Hey.
That's a 6-foot tall telescope.
The size doesn't matter.
That's not what I hear.
Yeah, seriously.
So
But are the stars good? That's all I want to
Look,
know.
Hey,
It depends
all I
on
know
where
is, when I was a kid, Pluto was a planet. Okay, so back in my day, Pluto was a planet.
Right.
All right.
You
They
know-
talked about it on the Magic School Bus, and that
I think
was
it's flat.
definitely
Going
magical.
on to Pluto, and they had to like defrost him on the bus. Yeah.
I actually remember that.
Yeah.
Them were the days, folks.
Yeah. How many school buses do you know that are magical? Okay, because I only know one.
Wow.
I mean, I know about some magic that happened on my school bus, but I don't think this is the time or the.
I know. Wow. Can I add that to
Are
my
we in the
joke book?
stand-up club?
Wow. Guys, can I share? Okay, so we almost got there. We were getting to I put in our personal chat here on the Zoom, just we're talking about a lot of different things here. I want to read a couple things to you guys real quick, okay?
Oh, no.
Real quickly. Robert Scott Lazar.
No,
Jesus
You
Christ.
mean Bob? Are you talking about Bobby?
Bob
Oh, Lazar?
Lazar.
It's just like,
Okay.
hold on, let me just derail the entire conversation.
Reverse
Talk about
engineering extra.
aliens.
Okay. All right, I'm done with that.
You want to
I
talk
totally,
about the CIA release
I was kidding.
documents?
I was
I'm
kidding.
down.
I might try to share my screen. I might jack up the whole live stream here, guys. This is what Ez does. I just derail things.
can I take a?
Oh, just check your browser tabs before you share a screen.
Wait, I think you guys are going to appreciate this. I think you're going to appreciate this.
Jiminy Christmas, Matt with the game saver, baby. Oh my god!
I think
Oh
you guys
my
will
God.
appreciate this. So I mentioned I had Christmas. My best friend painted me this.
Oh,
Let's
that's sick.
go.
That's
He
sick.
painted me a picture of Robert Baratheon.
Oh, that is sick.
He did it
He
with
was
spray
strong.
paint.
He was strong then. He was
Oh,
very
he was
strong
strong.
then.
God,
God,
that was
he
amazing.
was strong.
I mean, how impressive is that with spray paint? It's crazy.
With spray paint?
That's-
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You guys, I have a what if question I thought about the other day, and I was like, why would you even ask a what if question? But I'm going to ask it because we're all
I love
here.
him.
So when Ned was like, I'm gonna be really smart and I'm gonna tell Cersei that I know her secrets. So I'm gonna because I'm a nice guy, I'm gonna try to get her out of the city so that like really bad things don't happen to her. And I'm not gonna tell Robert because if Robert finds out, he's gonna murder her and everybody else. What would have happened if on his deathbed, Ned would have told Robert what happened? Do you think he would have gathered the will to live and sew himself back together
yeah.
to get his vengeance?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, I'll let you guys go
I
first.
think
Yeah.
the beaties had him down. I don't know.
I think he would have. Or at least he would have tried. He may not have been successful.
He probably would have
Him, like,
given a
trying to
royal
get up a
decree
little
on
bit.
Ned.
I mean, maybe he wouldn't have like physically got up, but maybe he would have like called a council, or he would have like,
He probably could have at least got the
Tried to-
wheels like set in motion.
yeah.
I feel
Well,
like
and
a
then
royal
he had the
decree.
letter too. Remember, he was writing the letter. He might have totally changed.
That's where
what he
Ned
wanted
lied
to-
for the first time. Well, second time.
What a bad lie.
Done that walk of shame a lot earlier in the series.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah. Almost just shared my desktop and everything that was on it. Oh my god. Do not let me run this thing. I did want to share something. Okay, because I just kind of like delayed, but like Lady Sarah was talking about astrology and if the energy's kind of weird and stuff. God, I really wish I could share it with you guys. Hold on,
Hey, Shannon.
You can share it. Just share it.
I'm gonna try it. Desktop share.
I think it just forces us all to smaller screens, and then it's yours, and it'll be fine.
Okay. Let's give it a try here. Lord, what is happening? Oh, I gotta give permission. Come on now.
Get permission.
It's because we're in we're already in the live stream. It's all right. I'll just kind of share some of it. Yeah. So it is. So I was on back in the day. Matt, remember when we went on that like huge TikTok binge where we were on TikTok and we were like going down rabbit holes. Like I was on UFO TikTok like crazy. I mean, the stuff I saw on there was real aliens, like legit.
I believe it.
Straight out of Dayton, Ohio. Like, I mean, right. This is where they took the Roswell bodies. I saw it. And like it starts off, it's the whole dancing TikTok, and you got to get off that. You got to follow the hashtags. You got to get into the whole thing because it's basically it was once a dancing music app. That's what it was. So once you get into that, it's actually pretty cool. I came across someone. I got on like UFO, and then I got into spiritual talk, like as in spiritual TikTok, not like Reverend so and so. Okay, what's his name? Famous Reverend. Give me one. But
Benny Hinn.
There you go. But. Yeah. Okay. Sure. So
Moses.
Moses. Back to Moses. Here we go, Lady Sarah. I'm telling everyone how I found spiritual TikTok and how I just a couple of days ago, someone was doing soul contract readings. A couple of days ago, I got my soul contract.
Did you really?
I really did. And the first couple lines that I read were spooky as all get out. It was me. This person had channeled. They had channeled and they were telling me about me. And I was like, why I was here in this world, in this realm to experience stuff. And I was like, wow.
Do you want to know something interesting? They say if you believe in like spirit stuff, that it comes through media, like through the radio, certain songs, things like that. So I don't like TikTok or Twitter, whatever algorithm, why would that be any exception to something that could be spooking you out in your office closet or something? You know what I mean? So it's like whatever came to you on your For You page to show you that, you know, that part that describes something to you was probably like there for a reason.
It's a little mind bending right there.
Yeah.
So what's a soul contract? Is that what you called it?
Let me tell you something.
What
sounds-
They have like astrology.
Let me drop a little knowledge.
Because it's a soul contract. Can I just say real quick? A soul contract kind of sounds to me like when
Jimmy's
you buy
done.
your significant other a star. You know, like, oh, this is what
Are we giving each other promise rings? Is that what we're fucking doing?
This is your star.
Seven hells, guys.
You guys ready to pick a dragon card?
Are those tarot cards? What is that?
Oh, I'm
Dragon
down.
ones.
Dude, I read those too,
That's sick.
Sarah.
That's
God.
Do
sick,
you?
damn
I
Not
just
dragon ones, but regular ones.
Like- that
Well,
kind.
tarot cards is real, so that's.
It is. It's no joke, you guys. Can I tell you something funny? I've spent like months on TikTok trying to like
That wasn't
figure
me.
out like my deal. Started doing like edits and stuff, like Star Wars stuff, and you know, been doing like okay. Like every few videos will get like a few thousand views or whatever.
right.
Like I think when the Bitcoin stuff going to the moon, that day was like perfect for the algorithm, good to go. But it takes a while, and like the edits, they take so long to do. I love doing them. They're creative, and I like how they come out. I like putting music to them, blah, blah,
Yeah, your
blah.
edits
Long
are
story
good.
short, it's not really about the following for me with that stuff. It's about just like making things that I really like, that I genuinely just want to share with other people, you know? 48 hours ago, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just share like some of this stuff, like some astrology stuff on TikTok? And I made a second account, and I don't know what has happened in the last 48 hours, but I posted like 9 videos, and each one has like 900 views, several hundred freaking likes.
Let's go.
And I'm literally looking at pictures and describing them. Like, what is happening?
That's awesome.
Let me just say something, because Ez and I, who run several podcasts and several YouTube channels and all of these things, and that's what we love doing, is creating content. And I love when other people get into content creation. They're like, well, this is what I like to talk about. And I will say this, which I have said to tons of people who've come to us and like, I said, what do we do? How do I start it? All this stuff. There is an audience for everything. There is nothing that does not exist that there is not an audience for out there, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. I mean, like, if you just literally, I mean, like, there are YouTube channels that have literally millions of subscribers that are things just like, I smashed anything and everything with a hydraulic press.
Yeah.
Or people that are like,
will it
Like
blend?
lead balls going into
right. This is a YouTube channel that's like nothing but gross, like pimple popping and like, like all that stuff. And
a television show.
And they have millions of followers. Yeah.
Gross.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying they exist. I mean, and they're out and they have literally millions.
But should
I think they should. I totally
maybe not
totally think they should. Yeah. So no, I mean, when it comes to content creation, just keep posting. So that's what Ez and I say to each other all the time. Is like, just keep posting.
Yeah, if you're having fun with it, yeah, absolutely. If you like making
it does not matter.
Yeah. I mean, my worst review is my stand review, and it has like 4,000 or 5,000 views. And it's I didn't even edit it. I did literally just sat in front of my door, the lights on my glasses, you can't see my eyes. I'm just like, these characters are pretty like fucking good and shit, but like the pandemic's happening, so the stand isn't great. And I don't know.
It's like the technology knows. It's like the technology knows when you're just like, oh, I just got to get something out there real quick. Like, don't think about it too hard. When you have this weird balance sometimes, like where it's that cross between thinking about it too much and not thinking about it enough. That's when that happens. And I swear, I don't know how technology gets it, what they do. But
and the other and the other thing I will say is, you have literally no idea who is watching, who comes across your content, no matter how big or small or whatever. You have literally no idea, and you will be incredibly shocked when you post something and like somehow you get a comment. As I know, you say the thing, it's like, I cannot for the life of me believe.
Well, I mean, we've got like literally, I mean, look at the people we're hanging out in here with here. I mean, on it's like, coming across all of you guys is like it is super cool to like meet people,
it's crazy.
Talk to people. It's insane. And then you've got, we have like a couple authors sitting here, you know what I mean? Like people get into content creation. It's insane. And then the people who never write in, they just listen. We got a guy at the Washington Post.
Yeah.
That is a regular. And he has a column in the Washington Post and regularly. And I figured, I was like, and he messaged me one day and I was like, what? He's like, great stuff. Just keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, all right, cool. He might've been the guy that maybe used to work for the New York Times. I don't know, but like, it's great. It's crazy stuff. It's cool. Yeah. I hope people keep doing it. I love it. I love like talking to people who are into, just different fandoms, content creation, all that kind of stuff. I think it's fascinating. I wish I could finish that joke book.
Yeah,
I wish I could write a book.
Creating anything.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Like, I mean,
I can write a book. If I can write a book, anybody can.
Yeah, if Lady Adrian can write a book, I mean, Jesus Christ.
My book would probably be
Jimmy.
Like,
I'm sure
Jimmy's writing a book.
Yeah, I know.
Well, started one.
Yeah,
I wish I had
finish it. I'm gonna nag him until he does.
I wish we had the time to write a book.
Just quit your job.
You know what's always fun is like hyping everybody up. It's like Lady Adrian and then like getting to know Lady Annie, right?
Yes.
Like, so like, okay, Adrian, you have like your my God, history, your Anne Boleyn, everything. Like if you like, and I hate to always bring it back to TikTok, but I swear if you did 15 to 45-second blurps of just like, hey, guess what? I bet you didn't know this about so and so and so and so. I bet you didn't know this about your favorite queen or favorite beheaded queen. You get something out there like that, people are like, wait, what? And then it's like when you know your stuff, you know, you get like a following, and then it's like Lady Annie, like writing a book that's a cross between Game of Thrones and Star Wars. Do you know how many people on Book Talk like just want to hear people talk about anything like that? Like, it's nuts. It's just like original people actually want to hear stuff about original, my God, intellectual property. That's not something that's already, you know, Star Wars TikTok will never die, but it's like, you know, when you hear about somebody that's writing something that's a cross between, you know, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, fantasy, that's just so intriguing. It just piques your curiosity. And it makes
I'm in.
More.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Lady Annie, I remember it was art. Was I think originally did you have like an art Instagram?
Yeah, I still have it. I just don't post a lot just because like still in school and busy and as craft.
Oh yeah.
But
No better time than now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be drawing right now.
And it sucks because I got the art tablet too. I don't know if you guys can see.
Wow, that's cool.
And like it's just been kind of sitting for weeks because I've just been too busy.
Right. No, that's how it works. Yeah. It's
when you feel that itch, you got to scratch it. So my grandpa used to tell me.
It's amazing that you have cat. You have a cat.
Are we supposed to scratch?
I have a huge list of all of these like videos and like all of these things, all these projects I want to do. I'm like, well, I want to do this one, this one, this one. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, 6 months go by, and I'm like, all right, well, I should probably finish that one.
Well, this is a great time to announce, Matt and Ez, that we are starting a Malazan podcast. And I'm Smith. I'm trying to hold a gun to them to do a podcast with me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm down. I'm down to read it and then come on your YouTube channel and do a couple of videos on it. Even if it's a podcast, I'm down to do that. But I mean, I definitely cannot do a dedicated Malazan podcast.
I would do a podcast if. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe.
What there? I mean, run it. I mean,
it's a lot.
What's something that's ongoing? Is that ongoing right now, or is it?
No,
over?
It is finito.
So I kind of like stuff that's ongoing. So what's the Stormlight? Stormlight Archives.
So Stormlight Archive. I mean, wide open for content creation.
Right.
I mean, wide open. And
somebody's gonna grab that up, probably, right? And
I mean, there are people making content. I don't think any of them can compete with us.
Let's go.
Clearly,
let's go.
So Stormlight is an ongoing. He releases a book every 2 to 3 years. And then there's also what they call the Cosmere, right? The Cosmere is his books that expand out of Stormlight. And he has other book series. It's like Marvel. They tie into Stormlight. So characters from other trilogies he wrote are showing up in Stormlight. And you're finding out that it's all connected. I mean, so Brandon Sanderson's prose and whatnot, from a prose perspective, he's very basic. He's very digestible and he's very approachable. That's why he's successful. I'm not saying that because I think he's a bad writer, but he's not going to be as like eloquent as Tolkien or Martin. But he does have his own Arthurian voice, is I guess how you would say it. But what I'm trying to say is Stormlight is probably one of the best plots in fantasy of all time. It's crazy, and the world building is super original. Like who
does that one?
That's Brandon Sanderson.
That's his.
That's like his series. I
thought it was Mistborn.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing: Mistborn. It looks like it's going to tie in to.
Shut
Stormlight.
Your mouth.
Okay. So Stormlight's 10 books. Book 4 just came out. In 2 years, we'll have book 5, and it's like George had the 5-year gap.
Yeah.
Well, Sanderson's going to do that. So book 5 will be the end of like the first arc of Stormlight, and then he's going to skip ahead.
Do you think Sanderson would be as because I feel like everyone's like, oh man, you got to read it. It's so good and stuff. But do you think he had he not been the person to finish Wheel of Time, that he would be as revered as he is?
I think so. I think it definitely helped him. I think he got a huge fan base from that.
Yeah.
But he does. So the thing about Sanderson, he's not my favorite writer, but no one writes plots better. I've never read anybody that writes plots as well as him. Like,
Okay.
bar none. Even Mistborn, which I actually don't really care for, to be honest with you, it's just not my cup of tea. The
Yeah.
magic systems that he implements are tremendous. No one really does it like him or has done it like him. And now he has almost kicked off like another wave of authors who want to use these hard magic systems where they have like more rules than just like Gandalf shooting out stuff from his staff, right?
Mhm.
So even if I didn't love Mistborn, the plot, phenomenal. Like
Mhm.
if you're into dips and dives and swerves, no one
Right.
does it better. No
Yeah.
one does it better, man.
I don't know.
Now,
I don't know, man. I can think of an author who takes you on a journey. Okay, let me just tell you a story here.
come on.
Let's go.
All right. Let me just tell you about building a plot. All right.
All right, let's go.
Have you ever tried to eat green eggs and ham on a train,
Wow.
on a plane, or in the rain? Okay.
Cool. Let's go.
And then you
I
just
tried
keep
to eat him in preschool. It didn't work out.
on a boat or with a goat. Okay.
Mhm.
And no, I don't want, there's no way you're ever going to get me to eat these
Right.
green eggs and ham. But
Right.
then at the end comes
Twist.
around.
Yep.
Tries
Right.
it.
Major.
Lady
Wow.
Stoneheart.
I'll eat them
Major.
And
anywhere.
where does Lady Stoneheart play into all this?
Okay.
Wow.
I'm
Guys,
just saying. It's
can
pretty,
I mean, Matt
pretty
brings
good
up a good
plot.
point.
Yes, we can, Lady Sarah. Yes.
Yes.
Catelyn makes me so upset sometimes because I go back and forth being like, she really is a great character. It's nice to have, especially in the very beginning of these books, an adult woman, I guess, who's a little more complicated, doesn't have this like rosy peachy relationship with Ned because she's always haunted by like the bastard, right? My problem with her is that like she just was so bad to John that like any rereading of her is like scarred. Like I'm having a hard time going back to like liking Catelyn. The things that she does for Rob, it's like maybe if you would have just taken your hands off of Rob a little bit, like the grip, loosened it, and gave some of that to John, things would have like worked out a little bit better. But like if her arc, like it, I don't know, it has to go past Brienne and Jaime. And somehow it has to go back to John. It has to go back to John.
It's actually a really good point because, all right, so I'm now rewatching the show because my wife's never seen it, and we just finished up episode 2, and she was already like flipping off the screen of Joffrey, which I thought was amazing. But she even said, she goes, "Oh, I thought I was gonna like the mom, Catelyn," and she's like,
She
"I
knows.
hate her." Yeah, she's like, "I hate her so much. She's so mean to John. It's not John's fault he was born." And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the gimmick. But you actually bring up a good point because, like, when I'm watching the show, and then also, because season 1 coincides with the book so well, we know that a lot of that material comes directly from the books, and how much John's heritage is questioned even in the first book and those first few chapters or episodes for the show. And we could have looked at that and said, oh, it was just, it's just interesting because his mom, was Ned's only unfaithful adventure, but it ended up being a lot more. So it does feel like George planted a lot of seeds in that first entry that are going to pay off later. So I actually think you have a pretty good point. I think maybe Lady Stoneheart does have something to do with John by the end. That's a good point.
Do you remember she also, Catelyn described, she was talking to Talisa, Rob's made-up wife in the show. And I don't know if this was a George written episode or not, but that was the episode where she tells Rob's wife about John getting sick that one night when he was really young, and how, she prayed to the gods that she would be better and she would do right for him. And he was, and he was saved. He made it out, but she didn't uphold her part of the bargain. So even if that's in the show, like there's some show things that like cannot be an accident. Like Charles Dance, Papa Tywin, when we first see him, he's dressing a stag. He's literally like had just hunted a stag who had just died in the show, Robert Baratheon. Like the dire wolf getting impaled by the stag, it came like back around. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like the show, of course, they wouldn't know what to do with Lady Stoneheart or any of this like zombie nonsense, but like John, when he comes back, there was nothing for him. He said, "Why did you bring me back? I don't want to be here." There was nothing. So it's like I just feel like more than Melisandre, like she just makes the most sense because she still has a debt to be paid.
That's a badass theory, to be honest.
So
Yeah.
So
Can
real
you write
quick,
that down and send it in?
so real quick, I'm reading.
working on a bastard theory about her.
I'm gonna pull up the episodes here that George wrote. So he wrote season 1, episode 8. So this is the one where Ned Stark is he's been captured, right? So George wrote this episode. So just a quote here I found that's pretty funny because I think it's just it should just all makes sense, right? Says the episode was written by George R.R. Martin, who's the author. He pulled from certain sections of Game of Thrones, right? These chapters. Said Martin has extensive experience in television writing. He used to write for like the Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
Beauty
right,
and the Beast.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he's written for a lot of stuff. He said he was very familiar with the characters, so he found it very easy. However, he said when he handed the script to the showrunners, he admitted that it was probably too long and expensive. In fact, one scene that Martin wrote included Robb Stark calling his father's Northern Bannermen with a montage of 8 different castles receiving the summons and writing
go.
out. And it was
That sounds like
deemed
the Weeknd.
impossible to film. They're like, bro, we can't
George
do
is a dreamer. All right, he's a dreamer.
Right. It should explain everything as to why like the shows.
I had to look up George's birth chart. I was like, I need to see what's going on. I need to see, and he's got a lot of fire, a lot of Leo and Aries energy, which is I'm an Aries. You don't want all of that together. So he's feisty. He's probably pretty feisty and a dreamer. A big
I've
dreamer.
been meaning to. I've been meaning to, and one of the things I wanted to do is go watch the episodes that George wrote and then compare them to the books and say what was added in this specific episode that is not in the books, or like hints at something that is like a theory that we've thought about, especially like the early ones that he wrote, because it's like, is he including something in this episode that's not in the books, like maybe a line here or a line there, that is something that back in 2010, I think, 2011, maybe 2010, when he's writing it, after he's kind of finished A Dance with Dragons, and he's saying, oh, this is going to be something that's going to come forward, I'll add it in here, and then it'll make sense later when people come to it, because I don't think it's something anybody's really ever broken down, or at least it's not something that's talked about
That's a great
lot.
idea.
He's a
But-
chaotic
Right.
gardener. Those seeds are all sprouting at different levels at different times.
Yeah, because this episode, the pointy end, the Lannisters detain Ned and Sansa. This is where Ned is captured, but Syrio Forel holds off the Kingsguard, allowing Arya to escape. This is where he says, "What do we say to the God of Death? Not today." Is that line in the? I don't think that line is in the books.
It might not be.
You know what? I don't think it is either, but I'd have to go back. I'd have to look.
Well, I can check it. I'm sure
I think one of the most interesting pieces.
It's an
of-
Arya. So I think it's Arya 4
Game of
of
Thrones.
a game. Arya 4, a Game of Thrones.
I have the Game of Thrones books right here. Let me open it up.
I think that's a show only line. Like, what do we say to the God of Death? Not today. And then she takes off.
All right, give me a minute. I'll tell you.
I do not believe that it's in the book.
You said Arya 4, right?
That's what it says. It says content from this episode is derived from the chapters Tyrion 6, Arya 4. So that's the only Arya chapter that it says that it's pulled from. But I think it's obviously an Arya chapter, because remember at that point, like, you really only have like 2 or 3 Sansa chapters, but because Sansa, Ned, and Arya keep appearing in each other's chapters.
He tells her, you need to go now, run to your father. She did not want to leave him, but he taught her to do just so. Oh my God, what does she say? Oh, she says, swift as the deer, just so. and then the Lannisters closed in.
That's it. So what do we say to the God of Death? Not today is not in the books.
Interesting.
But George wrote it for the show. Isn't it interesting that Syrio Farrell as
Oh wait,
Hey.
wait,
The
wait,
serial
wait,
Farrell
wait, wait,
Targaryen.
wait. No, okay. He says the first sword of Bravos does not run, and then she leaves. Okay, there's a
Right.
little bit more fighting. He says, "Arya, child, be gone now." She says, "Look with your eyes." Syrio, run. She screamed at him, and he said, "The first sword of Bravos does not run," and then she
Right.
left.
But so what do we say to the God of Death? Not today is a show only line.
Fear cuts deeper than swords.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a Star Wars reference. See, George.
Now I just
Oh.
looking at Ez's eyes, and he's just like, hold on a second here. This changes.
So
What do we say?
I'm going to throw this out there for people watching because I think I've said this before, but one of the things Daniel Abraham said about adapting the books to graphic novels that George told him was that there was a line that he cut from the graphic novels that Tyrion says in book 1. And George said, "You can't cut that line." And Daniel's like, "Why?" He said, "Because that one line from Tyrion ties in to the last page of the series."
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
So
you want to say something about Shadow being as big as Kings, or was that John?
I was probably Tyrion. But it's something Tyrion says.
It's a John chapter when like Tyrion does some tumbling.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
some
but
result.
His shadow, which George has later said, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, because then he's like, I think that was more just like, that was, then I have to try to make Tyrion seem like clumsy as an imp, and
Yeah.
So
that's why he had to add in earlier that he trained with some mummers or something to fix that.
So that is a very interesting thing that Daniel Abraham has said that George told him. And that's how he knows that George then confirmed with him that he's written the last sentence or page of the series already. So it's very interesting. If you want to go back through Game of Thrones, if you don't want to reread at any point, start writing down Tyrion lines.
You guys,
A
do you
lot
think
of
he's
peop-
all done? Do you think he's all done and now
Nope.
he's just building his universe so that way if he dies,
I wish.
he's got all these plans
I think he
laid
has
out.
I think he has a plan, but I think he's still writing. So the
plugging
second
away.
episode that GRRM wrote is season 2, episode 9, which is the Battle of the Blackwater. Which again, there's some more lines here which said he had to drastically scale back the episode he wanted to do, which is already a really good episode. I mean, it's super cool.
I wish we would have gotten the chain. That's the only thing that was like,
yeah. All the wildfire and stuff. He said it was harder to write because he was told in season 1 that he was there's budgetary constraints, and in this episode's even bigger. And so he said, well, it's even harder to write because I knew that I wasn't allowed to make it as big, right, as it was last time. Season 3, he writes The Bear and the Maiden Fair, which is, let me see what all happens in this. I think the big one is Jaime visits Brienne in her cell. He tells her that he will be leaving for King's Landing the next day. Before he leaves, Brienne makes him swear to uphold his oath to Catelyn and return the Stark girls to his mother. As he leaves, Jaime tells Roose to tell Robb that the Lannisters send their regards. That's where you see Qyburn here showing up. You have Dany is outside Yunkai. This is where she says she's going to take the city and its slaves. She says this is where I don't think this is the episode where she has the awesome mic drop at the end where she like burns everyone. I think that's the next episode.
And she says there can only be one.
Pretty much, yeah. She pretty much does. King's Landing. Sansa is comforted by Marjorie, who's heard of her betrothal to Tyrion. Elsewhere, Tyrion and Bronn discuss the match and how it will affect Shay. Tywin meets with Joffrey. Melisandre reveals to Gendry that his father was King Robert Baratheon. Remember, in the books, it's like that doesn't really happen because that's Edric Storm. And then in the north, Jon and the Wildling party continue their journey south. Let's see here. Jon tells Ygritte that the Wildling cause is hopeless, but she remains undaunted. Theon is freed from his constraints by 2 young women. The 3 are soon interrupted. Oh, this is the episode where Ramsay Snow demands Theon, which is definitely a GRRM episode, to say the least. So I don't know that there's anything in this one that is like, crazy different that could be perceived as like secrets going forward. And then I think season 4 is the last time he writes for the show, and I believe he writes the Red Wedding. Yeah, he does. Or the Purple Wedding, excuse me, where Joffrey dies. So he did. So he did 1 episode a season for the first 4 seasons, and so season 4 is his last, the last episode he writes for, and it's Joffrey's death.
Rip.
Yeah, but still interesting because it lists the chapters here. So now I'm gonna have to go back, watch the episode, and read the chapters that follow along with it to see if there's anything totally different that is potentially in one, not potentially in the other.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting.
There's stuff in there's stuff in here actually, and let me see here. Martin's draft, they talks about some of these things. Says in Martin's draft, so in this episode outside of the wedding, Bran has strange visions, including the same one of a ruined and snowbound Red Keep that Dany had in the House of the Undying, a dragon above King's Landing, a large Weirwood further north, and a voice telling him to go there. He tells his companions they must go. So it says in Martin's draft, Bran's vision is more extensive. While it does not include the Night King's first appearance on screen as it does in the series. Wait, what? That's Wikipedia. I don't think the Bran ever has
Wikipedia lying.
I think Wikipedia is lying. We don't ever see the Night King in the thing. It says it would have been a more extensive montage of scenes from the past, present, and possibly future in the series. Flashbacks would have included scenes of Ned cleaning ice beneath a weirwood tree from the show's original plot, Bran's Uncle Benjen and Lyanna Stark as children, which is later shown in a more extensive scene in flashback in season 6. That's one of those things we see with Bran. King Aerys watching and laughing as Ned's father are bound and burned. Cersei and Jaime embracing in the old keep at Winterfell just before Bran discovered them. So there's a lot, actually. This is interesting. See, you got to go look at the things that GRRM was a part of in the show, because there's secrets littered in them.
I like it. That's a great idea for a video, going over all those.
Yeah, let's go over all of it.
Let's do it.
I mean, not right now, but let's eventually do it. I just got messages from Sir Ryan and Sir Matthew couldn't make it tonight.
That's okay.
God.
Sir Matthew Perry was in the chat for a second.
I know.
John Garcia here. Honest question. GRRM has been writing the story for legit 25 years. Can he possibly finish and complete what he thought of it a quarter century ago and make it worth it? So much has changed over the years. I don't know.
That's a great question. I mean, like, you think about when Matt first read to me how this started, like when he talked about the story as it was pitched and then how it evolved,
the trilogy,
and then how it just kept going. And I'm like, this thing is evolving on him faster than he can write it down.
Yeah. I think, though, you always have to have an outline for the publisher, right? And I think that outline, while was a plan, I think it was bullshit. I think he always knew he was going to go bigger.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah. I I'm cool with that. I just think
The 5-year gap is what happened. The 5-year gap, and then him cutting it out.
yeah.
Because remember, he actually wrote past the 5-year gap, and then he said, shit, I
Yep.
can't do the 5-year gap. I'm spending 1,000 pages, having all these flashbacks. So I can't write the 5-year knot, or I'm sorry, the 5-year gap. And then the Marinese knot is another big issue that he has, which we still don't really know how that's going to resolve. It'll probably be similar to the show, but I think that'd probably be the most leeway that we'll see immediately that changes, or have the most leeway with the show. But the 5-year gap, I think, is when things changed.
Yeah, the only thing I could say is it's obviously not going to be maybe as good, or maybe the word I'm looking for is impactful as it would have been had he written it straight through.
Yeah.
The only, like, I'm trying to think of other projects that have just taken forever. The only one that's coming to mind right now is the Guns N' Roses album Chinese Democracy. So like late 80s Guns N' Roses is like the single biggest band in the world, and then they all basically break up, but they were in the middle of writing this album called Chinese Democracy, and it was rumored at and all this stuff, and it was supposed to come out for years and years and years, and then it finally did. It was supposed to come out probably 1993 and came out in 2008.
Or Dr. Dre's The Chronic.
Is any of this stuff relevant compared to what it was supposed to be over a decade earlier? Probably not. So
yeah,
that's probably some of the things that will happen here, because even when you're writing something and there is some relevance to the time period in which you are writing it, regardless of, even if it's set in its own world, there is still some relevance. You make connections to what's going on in the world around it, stuff like that. I mean,
I agree. And I think things in the fantasy genre has really developed, especially when it comes to the pacing of novels, the magic system in novels, and the time of release of novels. Like, if you're not writing a book a year, and you're a new author, you're going to have a tough time selling a lot. At least that's what I hear from Brandon Sanderson and other guys. But I do think that, I guess I'm less concerned about the social aspect of it, because writing is one of those things where, one, George isn't that old. And what I mean by that is Game of Thrones isn't that old. There's still people trying to replicate what he did back in the 90s and still haven't been able to capture that. No one else has yet, with the way that he did it. And I think I point back to things like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, right? They're very old, but they're still tremendous works. So right. I think writing is in a very unique position where you can take into the fact that it was written a while ago, or the person writing it might be out of context for the day. But I do think things can stand on their own even whenever time has passed them by. So,
yeah,
I think music's more sensitive to this, because music sound just fucking changes, right? And you'll see artists like Miley Cyrus is a really good example. She had to change her sound how many times now? And she has.
Look at Taylor. I mean, look at Taylor Swift. Man. I mean,
Taylor Swift's a great example.
Taylor Swift. She was country, right?
Yeah. So and that was her evolution. So
yeah,
it makes me now, as a fantasy reader, what gets me excited is George is reading Joe Abercrombie. He's reading all these new, just brilliant authors, and he's got to read Robin Hobb's work since his has been published, and I wonder if those have influences on him, because
I think so, absolutely.
I mean, I would love to see George take influences from Joe Abercrombie and Robin Hobb and Brandon Sanderson even. I mean, I think that would be really cool. Now, I'm not saying I want him to try to write like them, but maybe he sees something he likes and then he gets inspired and yada yada yada. So it could actually end up being a good thing. It's just a mixed bag.
Yeah.
If
anything has influenced him, it's the
TV
reaction to the show. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, he'd be a fool not to take that into consideration. But I definitely think a lot of things will be the same, and then how we get there will be a little bit different. But I actually am now a more firm believer that I think there are going to be some like major differences. Like I don't think John and Danny are going to have a romance in the books. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just
I'm
don't
with
see
you.
it.
Actually,
Young
on that.
Griff is like the biggest X factor. So
Yeah.
Right.
Annie, you're in for a treat.
Do you
You've never
guys-
read books 4 and 5, so you haven't met Young
Yeah.
Griff.
I know. I keep hearing about Young Griffin.
Ooh, it's good.
Okay, I'm
It's-
so whatever about young Griff.
The
Whatever.
one true king?
As if.
How dare
Get a
you?
clue. No.
How dare you, Sarah?
Lady Sarah, what?
You probably still think
He
Rhaegar
ain't
is
it.
alive.
He ain't it. He's not the one.
Rhaegar is still alive.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe.
No,
You think?
Yeah.
Rhaegar is the Anakin of this story. No, I'm just joking. Daenerys is the Anakin of this
She's
story.
the Mummer's dragon. She's not even real.
she's
not-
fake.
She's not even a Targaryen.
She's fake.
She's a bastard. Catelyn's gonna end up being a bastard. You guys, I've been like reading about her dad and like this Tansy stuff, and
come
like
on
we
now.
know that Liza had the like. Well, no, she didn't get to have the baby. But like, there's some more stuff that like her dad was like ranting about, and like the relationship between Blackfish and her dad is a little bit weird. Her dad always wanted the Blackfish to marry this like one chick in particular, which like who I believe is a red wine. Do we have red wines in the series, right?
I prefer white.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just like going off on way too many different rabbit holes, but I've been
No,
having
take
this
us down.
idea.
Come on.
Catelyn just hates the idea of bastardness so much that like it just would be like the ultimate, like, not to go back to like being mean to her or anything, but like it would really be something if we find out that like Catelyn's part of the whole crew in the 7 kingdoms that's part of this, like, we're all bastards, so we're just, you know, it's cool, right? Like there's something going on between the Blackfish and her dad. Like either her dad had a baby with a different woman and that's Catelyn, or the Blackfish is Catelyn's dad. I don't know. But like something's going on there. There's more to Catelyn, and there's more to that Hoster Tully end of life crabs in the belly thing. I don't know.
I like that theory.
You know what? I actually think that you're onto something, and you know why?
Yeah.
Because all that Hostratelli stuff when he's dying and he's rambling, and it kind of just like we kind of just let that go as a reader. Like that's a really good point. Like George didn't do that for no reason.
And she
and it wasn't.
thinks about it till Herb and too. It's
That's
like
right.
she leaves River Run, and it's not like, okay, well, Dad's dead. I'm like, I don't need to think about this stuff anymore. Like she's constantly trying to puzzle it in her brain.
That's right.
Can't.
Yeah, that's the second good point you've made tonight.
Sometimes I make those.
You're on a roll.
Very few. All the planets
Sometimes.
have to be in Aquarius for that to happen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
The
Yeah.
I just
dawning
think
of the age of
just would be
Aquarius.
it would be so ironic if Catelyn was not the pretty little purebred Southern Faith of the 7 little princess she thinks that she is. And you know what? She didn't have it easy. Like the guy that she was supposed to marry, like, you know, he burnt to death. That's not fun. But
Well, I
like,
was supposed to be with Topanga, and she married Corey. So,
Right.
and you don't
that
see
was a solid choice for Topanga, honestly.
you don't see me emotionally abusing my imaginary kids that I don't have. So fuck Catelyn Stark. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no kidding.
Long live Ned.
Long
She's
live
the
Ned.
worst.
Ned deserved to hit King's Road, see a
Dance
couple
it up with Ashara
brothels. Yeah.
and her laughing and her dancing purple eyes.
Oh, Annie hasn't read books 4 and 5, so that means she has it. Septa Lamora. Oh my god, you're dude. I think Dance is the best book. I mean, like Storm of Swords is objectively the best. I think it's the best fantasy book I've ever read. But like, as we wait, like book 5 just gets better and better and better. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be so good.
There's something special about book 5.
Yeah, there is. I think it's because we had spent a lot of time with characters that we didn't get a lot of page time with. And we really get to dive deep. And I mean, introducing young Griff, all this crazy shit. It's also the book that has the most difference from the shows. So clearly we're going to be interested in that as readers, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, someone actually said a really good point in chat. They said there's no way Danny is going to trust John to fall in love with him after the young Griff stuff. If we think it goes how we think it goes, right? And that's a really good point. There's literally no way.
And the Martell boy has already tried to come for her. Not.
Mhm.
I don't know if she knew. Did she know about that? Did she end up meeting him in court?
Nah, she never really meets him.
Okay.
Yeah.
he just gets super crispy.
Yeah, he
he
does.
goes
Yeah.
the bacon
Quentin.
route.
What a journey.
What an amazing
About the ride. It's about the ride.
what
not the
amazing
destination.
commentary on Prince Charming.
Yeah,
He
right.
thinks he's Prince Charming, and he gets
He's
fucking
literally
nuked.
described as a toad.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying.
yeah. It's
George
right.
loves fairy tales. There's actually a YouTube channel. It's a lady. I can't remember her name, but she actually compares a lot of George's writings to fairy tales and like does commentaries on it, and it's really
Oh
good.
yeah.
She did a live stream with Lucifer Means Lightbringer on New Year's Eve, I think. We were doing our thing on New
Oh,
Year's Eve,
nice.
which was way cooler.
It was. It was. Yeah.
We were very intoxicated.
We were very intoxicated. Yeah.
For yourself.
Ugly. Remember, she
What?
called him Prince Frog. Yeah, George absolutely was making a, he was subverting the trope of Prince Charming there. That's 100% what that was. And that's why I love George. He wears all of his influences on his sleeve. He's very influenced by, H.P. Lovecraft's one that he's pointed out, H.G. Wells, Tolkien. Like he wears all those on his sleeve. And a lot of the lore that you'll read in World of Ice and Fire is very Lovecraftian in its horror elements, like the shadow
Like the
of
Shy.
Yeah, the Shy is, it's Lovecraftian. It is what it is. Like
That is like the single most intriguing and outside of where we're at. Like honestly, it's probably out of everywhere in the whole. I'm looking at the map right now. Now I have the Dora song in my head. On the map, on the map. Anyways, yeah, a Shy is definitely gnarly and just like the names of everywhere, like Winterfell. I think we kind of talked about this a little bit in the last one. Winterfell, Starfall. If I need my grammar people, present tense, past tense. That's kind of interesting. Like winter has fell and star. I don't know. Just I keep thinking about Rhaenys falling in Dorne. Speaking of letters, another very important letter, fire and blood wise, is the Dornish letter that was brought to King Aegon that he clenched so tightly that his palms started bleeding, and then he hopped on his dragon and like went on like a walkabout for like a few weeks. He was like, whatever he read in that letter was like, I gotta go. Like something no man is gonna talk to anybody about. So like she dipped. Like I think she dipped. I think she went back and forth to Dorne so many times trying to broker peace and trying to like rein him in. And speaking of toads, the ugly old toad queen or princess of Dorne would always be like unbowed, unbent, unbroken. And she'd be like fire and blood. And then she'd like say the same thing. And then finally she just fell. She just died. They don't say how, they don't say why, never recovered her body. Again, like all the Targaryens whose bodies were never recovered, Rhaegar, I'm looking at you, like there's just so much. And so like there's parallels between Ashara and Rhaenys, like laughing, dancing, singing, purple eyes. So I'm just wondering if anybody knows who the first Dornish person a Targaryen married was. At the top of your head.
The first person that a Dornish and Targaryen.
Yeah, because
It was,
Targaryens did the Valyrian stuff when they didn't have another Targaryen to marry, and then eventually, I think way before Dunk or Egg, right?
Wasn't it one of the Aegons? Didn't one of the one of the Aegon rulers? Either he made a marriage alliance or he himself was the one who married. Off the top of my head, and you're asking a drunk Ser Ezra, the watchful, whether they old drunk. Who's drunk?
You?
Stop. Come on now. No.
Oh
but
wait,
what's your
Egg's mom is Dornish because he describes I don't know, there's something to do with
Baelor.
color.
Baelor Breakspear is he's the one who's like described as Dornish. And
that would be Egg's grandma then.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So his uncle Baelor was the one who was more, and Baelor's sons were Dornish and things. Yeah, looking. There was one before though, that, and I think, unless, yeah, it was sort of the bringing in of Dorne. I can go find it if you guys want me to, real quick. But yeah, what was why are we bringing that to the Lady Sarah? Where, you know,
I'm wondering, like, I know they said like Dawn and that part of Dorne, like, you know, if you go into a world of ice and fire, you get into like the thousands years history of like each house in each area. She would have her own fancy sword. She'd have her own dragon. Like, I don't know what. See, now this is where I have a roadblock because she had a son. She had Aenys already. So it's like,
Egg's mom is a Dane, so his mom was Dornish.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
I just feel like there's just, like with the Danes, they're just so, like, they are honestly almost as important as like the Targaryens. Like, they are something special. They're on the back burner. He's got him simmering in a little pot in the back that we're not like paying attention to, but like that's going to boil over at some point. And like his universe that he's building, the withholding of Summerhall information, the withholding of the Duncan Eggtails, being so secretive about Fire and Blood Part 2. He's playing a very long game. And where do you think that game begins? At Aegon's conquest with those 3 that came marching in on their dragons, right? Aegon had Balerion, the only dragon that ever came from old Valyria. He eventually dies. That dragon, do we really know that Balerion dies? Did we see his death? Like, we know his skull is in the keep and everything, but like you have Visenya, who went on to have Maegor. You had Rhaenys, who had Aenys. So none of the Targaryens would exist without Rhaenys and her line, because Maegor, regardless of how Visenya came up with that freaking devil baby,
Right.
he didn't continue his line. He was never able to have his own kids. So anybody who's a pure blood, you know, non-Muggle Targaryen comes from her. And there's a lot of, I just have these feelings that Aegon is not the father of any of these children. I don't think he ever made love to his sisters. They may be his wives, but probably for protection, for some sort of equality thing that like nobody else would get at the time. And I don't know why Rhaenys would end up in Dorne unless she freaking died there. But there's something more to her. And like, again, there's a lot of parallels between her description and Ashara's, just the dancing, the singers, the bards, the way Howland describes Ashara at Harrenhal is like kind of like the same way when they describe, oh my God, Visenya, how she's, you know, sharp and edgy and dark, and how Rhaenys is kind of like, you know, the opposite of that. She's full of laughter. She's full of light. You know, Aegon preferred to hang out with her. You know, if you have 2 sisters and one's a bitch and one's kind of just cool and chill, who are you going to hang out with more?
Yeah. No, he did hang out with Rhaenys more. I mean, you know, it was more pleasant to be around and things like that. I've actually heard that his the what was it there? Oh gosh, one of the Baratheon, right?
Or
yeah.
it starts with an O.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Who it basically like that there was maybe something more going on there, even though there's like the possible relationship, like related aspect of it as well, but like in just friends, you know. And then that, yeah, his sisters may not have been. I've actually read that somewhere on Reddit that they're all bastards, all of them.
Oris?
I think that's,
Is it
I
Oris
think that's
Baratheon?
George's.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's going to be George's. What's it? Piece de la Resistance. Like, I think that's going to be his. Like, what's the fool line?
So-
The night the fool line. All knights are fools. What's the?
Right. Oh, I know what you're saying. What she says.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying, from Duncan. Yeah, from
right.
Duncan Egg. So it's kind of like, I just think he's just this whole like, you know, the throne is mine. You know, what was the whole season 8 thing like, for the throne? that's HBO, that's the D&Ds, that's not him. He's like gonna let you know, like probably Lady Adrian knows, that bloodline, mommies and daddies, sisters are told, like kids are raised thinking their sister is their sister when it's their mom. They're raised thinking their uncle is their uncle till they find out it's their father. Like things happen every single day. Yeah, men are, oh, I thought you said men are tools. I was gonna say.
Well, we are tools.
Right. Well, so like one of the things that's interesting is you can look throughout a lot of the Targaryen history and look at all of these people who you look like
Rhaenyra.
Well, like, so we'll see this in House of the Dragon, right? Is the whole, what I always find is so interesting about what will be House of the Dragon, which is the Dance of the Dragons, is you have this war between Alicent Hightower and Rhaenys Targaryen, because Rhaenyra, wants to be queen. She's like, I should be in charge, and it's this huge back and forth. And so Alicent Hightower is the one who's in charge until, so like they kind of get their way, but then ultimately it's Daemon Targaryen's and Rhaenyra's kid who actually ends up becoming the next king. So in a way, they kind of win the thing. And then when you look at, just fast forward a little bit to the Blackfyre Rebellion, there's a lot of things there's a lot of rumors and stuff like that Darren, who is the actual king, he might actually be the son of the Dragon Knight. So he might not even be legitimate, but he's king, and he's fighting against Daemon Blackfyre, who is through and through a Targaryen. Even though he's a bastard, his father and his mother are both Targaryens. It's not like he's, some just random woman thing. And then he's even legitimate. He's legitimized, right? And all of these things. So theoretically, he actually could be and should be the real king. And so it like, just like you said, it starts all the way with Aegon, and it's like, well, Visenya, and then Aenys, and then it goes down, and are they all bastards in the first place? And then it just goes all over the place. And that's kind of their whole family history, is a lot of it's the legitimacy really is ultimately whoever is in the throne is who has the power,
It's
regardless.
The appearance,
right? Is regardless of who should have it, which I think
you can have like shadow babies,
right? Which if Dan, let's say that Dany doesn't go mad and she does ultimately win the whole thing in the books, well, then it would be really kind of cool for her to break the cycle, which she says she wants to do, and that she will take the throne. It's not like something that's passed down over, and should it be this person, it should be, no, I just took it, everybody else can deal with it. Which would be cool, but it's probably more likely, given the whole Targaryen history, that Jon is actually a Targaryen and will end up getting the whole thing, and then it's just because that's how Gert writes, and he's the
Harry Potter of the series.
It's gonna be tragic and unfortunate for Dany, but it's probably the way. She's
the Anakin. She's legitimately the Anakin of this story. She's gonna dark. The fear is going to consume her. It's going to lead to her suffering. They did it in such an awful, fast way in season 8. Imagine,
thank you for joining us.
Imagine like the artistry that George will do, bringing her being this beacon of hope, this, mother of dragons, this shining light, the one that is going to bring balance to the 7 kingdoms, the chosen one. And she's literally going to start walking down the path. What are the 4 words? Fear, hate, suffering. I'm missing one. Come on, guys.
Which one?
The path to the dark side.
The path to the dark side. Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to pain, suffering, hate, and fear. Yeah. She's gonna get the quad amount of all of these things coming together. He's going to just sew everything up so beautifully that like the Red Wedding could never touch what we're going to see happen to Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen. Like she's the epitome of thinking a path is for her and life telling her, no, it's not, but she's going there anyways, which is going to destroy the balance. So to go off on another tangent, the more I get into Star Wars, the more I'm like, why are these two
Right.
like, I think George steals from there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Lady Annie, thank you
all
so
good 'cause
much.
George stole from Dune.
Have a good one.
Thanks for
There we go.
Yeah,
I wish-
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. It's cool.
anytime I'm available, I will hop on.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
When I read Foundation by Isaac Asimov, I was so shocked by how much it reminded me. Certain aspects reminded me of Star Wars. But it makes sense because Asimov is the godfather of sci-fi. So not too shocking. Also, that's going to be a show on Apple TV Plus. It is going to be their flagship show.
I
Yeah,
have that.
Apple TV is one I tried. It's going to be a while before they build
I
up some
have
original
it.
content.
Yeah, I have it. I'm watching the M. Night Shyamalan series called Servant, and I love it.
They have something with Jason Momoa. I know that.
Oh
That's
yeah, what
blind-
is
yeah,
that?
he's like blind in it or something.
Ooh,
Or
blind.
everybody's blind and a baby's born and it can
Blind
see.
with abs. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, Jason Momoa, Apple TV.
Dude.
Well, there are only a couple of people watching, so we probably could call this a good place for the live stream. As if we
Yeah, we better call her.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I'm
cut-
about to head to bed.
Caller stops here. You know. So
I think it's
Thank
11
you.
o'clock over on East Coast time right now.
Yeah, this is way past my bedtime.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
yeah, same here. My eyes are bloodshot right now. If you guys can tell that or not,
I can
That's
see it.
some
It's only
bullshit.
8 o'clock out here, so
They're
Yeah, you
Yeah,
bloodshot.
I
guys-
was like, oh, it's
The
8.
night's still young.
The night is young.
yeah, man, we're out here on the West Coast. Come on.
Whoa,
The
must
night
be
is young, but
nice.
I am not.
Oh my
It's true.
gosh, I almost
I
was
need
like
to
I
see
need
where
to.
the moon's
eye
at
drops.
tomorrow.
I've got some complaining on Twitter to do about our governor out here too. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
All right.
Yeah, I just saw
What
that in the state of
now?
Oregon. In the state of Oregon, apparently they're taking taxes out of our stimulus check. I mean, the whole point is to stimulate the economy, not the Oregon government. Okay, I
True.
mean, come on now.
Let's see. The Dark Side's a true fight. Is this every
I'm
night?
moving.
Friday night? I mean, good night was fun. So someone in the chats wanted to know if this is every Friday night. Is this every Friday night?
I mean,
Well,
you know what? If we get the
I will say
subscribers
this.
up over 1,000, then yes.
Well,
Okay.
you're at
All right.
921, and I
Yeah, you got to
and-
do the
We're-
TikTok hook, like part 2, you know? Like,
Yeah,
Okay.
no, there will be there. As and I are planning on going live more often. Maybe not necessarily always on Bend the Knee, but certainly hyperspace and a lot of these other things as they're.
I mean, I would go live on Bend the Knee. Let me tell you right now. You want to do some Q&A? You want to know more about Sir Matt? I'll tell you everything you want to know about Sir
Oh,
Matt.
wow.
I actually we should do an AMA.
Yeah.
Ask me
we
ask
should.
me anything.
So what you could do
Okay.
is when
That's
you
what
get
that
1,000
stands for?
subs,
AMA,
Yeah.
yeah. Ask me
I
anything.
didn't know that.
Lady Sarah can quote Fire and Blood like
I-
the back of her
right.
hand, but she didn't know what AMA
I've
was.
got look,
I don't know
I've got
why. It took me- yeah.
I've got a question right now. And this is a good place for Ez to